Okay. We call this meeting today of the Sacramento City Council. Please call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan. Here. Councilmember Dickinson. Here. Vice Mayor Talamontes. Here. Councilmember Fleckybaum. Councilmember Maple. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings. Here. Councilmember Vang. Here. And Mayor McCarty.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay. Let's please stand for our land acknowledgement. Please rise for the opening acknowledgements in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Miwok Plains, Putwin Wintu peoples, the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands. By choosing to gather together today in active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contributions, and lives. Thank you. Please remain standing and lead us in the pledge. Councilmember Fleckybaum.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please begin.
So, Mayor, you have two items on the discussion calendar. The first is definitive documents for implementation of Sacramento Republic FC preliminary term sheet. Item 2 is approving the expansion of the proposed City of Sacramento Rail Yards Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District and the amended infrastructure financing plan, including the division of taxes set forth therein and authorizing a judicial validation action. Are we taking those items separately or together?
Yes, we will take them together.
Perfect. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, we do. Please proceed.
Good afternoon. Before we start the formal presentations today, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on how we got here. It's no mystery that the rail yard site has been vacant for decades until just recently, with major infrastructure work and vertical development just starting. However, there are some who say we're in a rush with this project to be considered today and things are moving too fast. I personally could not disagree more. And the various plans tell the story of all of the site's starts and stops. From the Sacramento Central City Community Plan adopted on May 15, 1980, to 2004-2006, during which the city conducted a visioning process for the development of the rail yards area, which considered a series of public workshops to generate community input on the redevelopment of the rail yards area. Over the years of collecting feedback, we've heard the community has asked for development that would transform the rail yards from an underutilized and environmentally contaminated industrial site into a transit-oriented, attractive, and nationally renowned mixed-use urban environment. No small ask. And what will the project being considered today do? Let me tell you. Our community has asked us to integrate and connect the rail yards area into the fabric of Sacramento's central city and downtown office, retail, tourism, residential, and government centers, as well as Old Sacramento, the River District area, and the adjacent Alkali Flat neighborhood, using pedestrian and bicycle connections, roadways, and public transportation routes. Check. Community asked us to create a dynamic 24-hour mixed-use urban environment that provides a range of complementary uses, including cultural, office, hospitality, sports and entertainment, retail, healthcare, educational, and open space, and a mixture of housing products, including affordable housing. Check. Community asked us to capitalize on the historic Central Shops building as a heritage tourism draw and as an inspiration for a mix of uses that will help to create a culturally vibrant urban community. Check. Community asked us to create a development that is a regional draw for the city of Sacramento. Check. And community asked us to provide a mixture of uses that complement and support the city's planned Sacramento Valley Station, connecting the central city to the region, the state, and beyond. Check. Fast forward to 2016 and council approval of a rail yards EIFD to fund infrastructure for development. Fast forward again, I call this getting in the time machine, to November 2024, to the approval of the preliminary term sheet. The collective we, staff, council, and various development partners over time have been running a marathon, passing the baton for over 45 years to get to this point. It takes persistence, creativity, and flexibility to get hard things done, and the proposal before you this afternoon reflects just that. It also takes trust. The trust of you, council, and prior councils who had the vision and persistence to reimagine what the rail yards could be, and of our development partners today, who are ready and willing to put millions into making this vision a reality. While hundreds of millions of dollars have been invested in backbone infrastructure and remediation over the years, we remain challenged by the fact that a large public infrastructure burden remains for the site to continue to be developed. This is infrastructure that we, the city, must provide but are currently unable to afford. Given this reality, it is our development partners, Wilton Rancheria and DRV, to you I say thank you. Thank you for providing us with the means to move forward. It is a fact that our partners are carrying the risk with their upfront funding of infrastructure that will allow for the development in the rail yards we've dreamt of for years. Without this investment, as approved by Council in 2024 in the preliminary term sheet framework, we would expect a significantly slower pace of development, consistent with what we've witnessed over the last few decades. Furthermore, it is quite possible that these catalytic projects might not happen anytime in the near term, if at all. In the absence of redevelopment agencies, the rail yards is exactly the type of catalytic project the state envisioned for utilization of an EIFD. Some may call it textbook, to fund infrastructure improvements, land assembly, housing, and other projects in what would have been a redevelopment area. This is, as Councilmember Dickinson suggested at the opening of our budget hearings in May, a representation of a significant step in our efforts to grow our local economy. Finally, I would be remiss for not acknowledging all of the hard work that has happened since November to bring this package to you today. It was a heavy lift indeed. Thank you to the teams from the Wilton Rancheria, Indomitable, DRV, and our city team. Mike Jasso, Marco Gonzalez, and Leslie Fritchie from our Office of Innovation and Economic Development, Eric Frederick from Infrastructure Finance, and Mike Sparks, Jeff Massey, and Matt Ruyak from our City Attorney's Office, who have worked so diligently, along with the other teams, to dot the I's and cross the T's to be here today. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Marco Gonzalez and our development partners to share the details. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Waiting for the slides here. Perfect. Thank you. Mayor, City Manager, members of the council, Marco Gonzalez, City Manager's Office of Innovation and Economic Development. Not to make this all about me, but I'm a Sacramentan born and raised, and I love the rail yards, and so this is just such a big day for the city, so just wanted to acknowledge that. Today we're going to be going over background on the rail yards project. We'll provide an overview of the resolution staff is recommending council to approve that would implement the 2024 term sheet. You'll receive an overview of the EIFD tool in the fiscal impact analysis. Then we'll finish with our development partners, DRV and Indomitable, for overviews of rail yards wide and stadium development. So timeline, as the interim city manager mentioned, the rail yards has been in the works for many years. Efforts to develop the rail yards go back decades, from the 90s when Roma Design and Southern Pacific partnered on the reuse of the site, to the 2000s when Millennia Associates and Thomas Enterprises took their shot at planning and development of the rail yards, or the former rail yard. Then in 2016, the latest plan to redevelop the site was approved by City Council, and it not only included a mixed income housing strategy to ensure a diverse range of housing options, including affordable, flexible zoning to create mixed use and transit-oriented projects like the AJ, but it also centered around big catalytic projects in the Kaiser Hospital, the soccer stadium, and rehabilitation of the historic Central Shops and Sacramento Valley Station Since then, lots of groundwork was laid in the form of remediation and backbone infrastructure development. The soccer project had a few setbacks, and it seemed as though it was destined for the same starts and stops as the rest of the rail yards. However, at the end of 2024, the Wilton Rancheria emerged as lead investors to construct a 12,000 attendee soccer stadium for the Sac Republic in the rail yards. In November of 24, City Council unanimously approved a term sheet that included not only soccer, but plans to rehabilitate the historic Central Shops, the historic Sacramento Valley Station, and catalyze development of the rest of the site. Today, before Council are the final steps to implement the term sheet and for the projects to be under construction in earnest. The primary deal points of the 24 term sheet included a commitment to expand the EIFD. EPS will give an overview with more details on what that entails. To waive reimbursement for city services on Republic match days up to $300,000 annually for 10 years, adjusted for inflation. Digital signage, which includes assigned district and offsite digital billboards, and purchase of 2 parcels to build out the SVS consistent with the area plan approved by council for $14 million, which will be reimbursed via the EIFD. So going to economic impacts. Economic impacts of implementing the term sheet include attracting private investment, so over $325 million anticipated for the stadium and Central Shops Phase 1 alone, job creation with over 13,500 direct on-site jobs anticipated. Indomitable has also committed via the comprehensive project agreement to work with the city to develop regional business and employment goals and programs. And the benefit of that is added of reconnecting our downtown with new multimodal facilities and open spaces. In the last few years, the rail yards has seen significant progress in both infrastructure development and the first few vertical projects coming out of the ground. However, a significant infrastructure burden still remains with few resources to fund that infrastructure. We estimate over $200 million of facilities left to construct. By approving an expanded EIFD, we can build off of the momentum gained from various state grants to incentivize our private development partners to front the funds necessary to complete the site for development opportunities. Layer on projects that have already been opened or under construction, housing that is being developed on the site as a response to both the mixed income housing strategy adopted by council in 2016 and HCD grant requirements. Over 44% of the housing units constructed on site today are affordable. In addition, projections in the infrastructure financing plan predict the EIFD is anticipated to generate $133 million nominally for citywide affordable housing construction. Further layering on the term sheet projects that are part of the 24 term sheet, which likely do not happen without the framework the term sheet lays out, and we begin to see the catalytic effect to bring the 2016 plan to fruition. So next steps. Staff is recommending council to approve 2 resolutions related to implementation of the 2024 term sheet. The first, execution of definitive documents. The second is expansion of the EIFD. If council approves the EIFD infrastructure financing plan and master funding agreement, which fleshes out how the parties participate in the EIFD tax increments, both would continue on to the Public Finance Authority for consideration. And if approved, the deal will be finalized by both the stadium project. Let me take a step back here. The deal will be finalized in both the stadium project and Phase 1 of the historic Central Shops rehabilitation will be underway later this year for targeted 2027 openings. Next, you'll hear from Jamie Gomes with EPS. Jamie will give an overview of the EIFD and the fiscal impact analysis. As a reminder, EIFDs were created for redevelopment projects just like the rail yards. It will allow the city to attract private funds for infrastructure construction, with our private development partners carrying the risk if development occurs more slowly than anticipated. In addition, the anticipated economic impacts of catalyzing the rail yards are significant, with an anticipated $4.4 billion in annual economic output generated and $49 million general plan surplus anticipated over the life of the EIFD. And with that, I will bring up Jamie.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, City Manager. Jamie Gomes with Economic and Planning Systems. And I want to acknowledge my colleague and teammate and primary analyst on the project, Miles Cressy, who's here with me in the audience as well. And on behalf of the city, EPS has prepared the infrastructure financing plan. And the primary purpose of my presentation is to provide an overview of the infrastructure financing plan, which is a part of the proposed EIFD amendment. The key purpose of the infrastructure financing plan, key purposes are to expand the boundaries and to rename the EIFD. And in the course of that, we are creating two separate project areas within the EIFD. The amendment also accommodates the addition of additional eligible infrastructure and public facilities that can be financed by EIFD revenues. The financing strategy in the document has been updated that now aligns with the term sheet that's been referenced and the master funding agreement that you'll be considering today. And then, of course, the document is compliant with the statutorily required elements that an infrastructure financing plan must include. The financing plan is reflective of current EIFD law and includes several elements. The proposed amendment and estimated development timeline is described. The document identifies proposed land uses within the EIFD boundaries, which, as you know, is expanded or proposed to be expanded. The document estimates tax increment revenues and outlines how those revenues will be used to reimburse various entities who have advance funded public infrastructure or land acquisition. The document describes the plan for how the facilities may be financed and estimates the fiscal impacts of the project on the city considering EIFD formation. It's important to note that establishing or amending an EIFD does not create nor does it constitute a new tax. Rather, an EIFD is leveraging the incremental property tax that would be created once new development occurs and new assessed value is added to the property tax rolls. So I just want to emphasize, not a new tax, it's leveraging incremental property tax revenues. And this new development upon which those assessed values are based would not occur otherwise, as referenced by the city manager, but for the investment of the EIFD dollars to catalyze that subsequent private investment. And then finally, as depicted on this image, tax increment revenues do take a number of years to accumulate. There are a number of years where site development must occur, and then vertical development occurs, then the value hits the roll. So in this case, as referenced by the city manager, private parties are advance funding infrastructure that are then being partially reimbursed by EIFD revenues. The financing plan categorizes these eligible public facilities and costs into three general categories. We have developer-led facilities, again, that are privately advanced and funded. We have city-eligible facilities, such as land acquisition, and the investment in affordable housing. The tax increment revenue forecast includes several important assumptions that inform which monies are anticipated to go into the EIFD and be available to invest in infrastructure, and which monies will be retained by the city to help fund ongoing city services. These assumptions include two different base years, because we have two project areas, one of which was formed back in 2019. That has a different base year than the current new project area that would be a part of this amendment. The estimated assessed values reflect proposed development as provided by the developers. And then once that development is online, it assumes that that will increase to 2% per year over time. 100% of the property tax and the real property tax trust fund revenues are assumed to be available to the EIFD. The two project areas do overlap the former rail yards redevelopment project area, and that's why you see a portion of the RPTTF revenues being contributed. The city is not contributing any property tax in lieu of vehicle license fee revenues to the EIFD. Those will instead be retained by the city. Plus, the city is also retaining existing funding that is going into the Innovation and Growth Fund, as well as pass-through revenues the city already receives from the former redevelopment project area. The EIFD revenues separately track revenues from each of the separate project areas, and the flow of funds aligns with the term sheet and the master funding agreement. And at the Public Financing Authority's discretion, EIFD revenues can be used to fund tax-exempt bonds that are issued through the Public Financing Authority. It can be used to fund debt service through another city debt instrument or a Melrose Community Facilities District, for example. And lastly, the revenues can be used to fund improvements on a pay-as-you-go basis. As noted, the IFPA provides an estimate of tax increment revenues expected to be available to the EIFD, and this slide is depicting the annual revenues on a year-by-year basis. This is for both project areas combined. And as you can see, in the early years, as we had noted, it takes a while for vertical development to transpire and for the assessed values to grow and thereby create additional tax increment revenue. So in the later years, you can see as those assessed values grow and compound over time, there's much more revenue coming into the EIFD. The financing plan is required to include a fiscal impact analysis to estimate the cost to the city of providing public facilities and services within the EIFD boundaries. The fiscal impact analysis compares revenues that are anticipated to come in from new development with the cost to the city of providing new services to project residents, employees, and visitors. On the left side of this slide are the inputs to the fiscal impact analysis, which include the land uses, existing city service levels, and the city's operating budget. And then, of course, the revenues are considering that property tax increment revenue is being proposed to be dedicated to the EIFD. And then on the expenditure side, it accounts for the incremental cost to the city to provide services to new residents, employees, and visitors within the rail yards project. The fiscal impact analysis and the analysis of costs to provide facilities and services within the EIFD boundaries must examine these items both during development and at project build-out. So in other words, there's two time periods within which we're looking at these fiscal impacts to the city. During the initial development phase, which is projected to be approximately through 2033, the city is estimated to experience average annual deficits of approximately $580,000 per year. The deficits in these early years are due in part to many of the early rail yards projects that either have or are anticipated to have a tax-exempt status. Those projects include things such as the Kaiser Hospital, the Wong Center, which is a 100% affordable housing project, which is occupied. The new county courthouse would also be tax exempt, as well as a portion of the AJ housing project, which is a mixed residential project that just opened in May. After 2033, and at full project build-out, the city is expected to experience fiscal surpluses, with the surplus anticipated to be $1.4 million annually by 2040. So over the lifetime of the EIFD that you are considering, between 2025 and 2075, the cumulative surpluses to the city in 2024 dollars are about $49.3 million. If one were to take the revenue stream over that 50 years and discount it back to today's dollars, it's approximately $34.3 million. As Marco alluded to, EPS also prepared an economic impact analysis for the project, which examines the project's impact on the economy of the region. So this expands the lens a little bit and not only looks singularly at the city of Sacramento, but the Sacramento County as a whole and the region. The economic impact analysis, among other measures, estimates total jobs, total annual wage income, and total economic output of the project. Plus, the direct economic activity in rail yards will generate additional indirect and induced effects in the surrounding region through business-to-business activities and spending. In addition, the new employees who work within the project and the residents who live within the project will also generate additional induced economic activity through their spending. So when looking at the project in total, the results of the economic impact analysis indicate approximately 24,000 total jobs, and that's the number that Marco provided, plus the indirect and induced jobs. And this number of jobs, 24,000 jobs, equates to $2.1 billion in total annual wage income. So very significant economic impacts. And with that, I'll turn it over to Denton Kelly for DRV to carry on.
Thank you, City Council. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Laney, for hearing this matter you have here before you today to consider. First, I'd like to thank your staff. I have to be honest, when there were some dates set, maybe a month or two ago, we kind of rolled our eyes a little bit, grumbled, and was like, this may not be possible. But, to staff's credit, they did it in a time frame that we initially didn't think was possible. So, great job, Marco and team, and Leslie and Michael. So thank you. I'd also like to thank my team for all the support they've done and the heavy lift of all the execution of this and all the negotiation. I'd love to thank Kevin Nagel and Todd of the Sac Republic, Jesus and Chris and the entire Wilton tribe that's here with us today. They'll be the majority owners. So 1922, that's almost 100 years ago. It's over 100 years ago. So this was and is the western terminus for the Transcontinental Railroad. This is one of the most historically significant sites in our state, and it's one of the most significant in our country. It's a history that was made by industrial visionaries and made possible by labor's grit. It was forged into an indomitable community that we call the rail yards. World-class cities have world-class downtowns. We all know this. And in order to have world-class downtowns, we have to have bold decisions that enable iconic destinations. And that's what we have before you today to consider, are two wonderful, iconic destinations that will forever be a watershed event for this city, in the Central Shops and in the Sac Republic Soccer Stadium. Imagine a few years from now when these projects are complete, a parent, a grandparent will go to Kaiser, meet their newborn grandchild. Imagine Kevin, you, any of you council members, you take your family, you go with friends, you go to a soccer game, no time left, penalty kick. Your kid's inspired to pursue a passion of soccer from that moment on. Imagine you're taking your teens to a concert in the new paint shop for a band you've never even heard of, but you're still happy about it because they're going to have a wonderful experience. Imagine having dinner, drinks, sitting out, Delta breeze. It's a spring, it's a summer evening. People are gathering in line for a concert. People are coming from the hospital to grab dinner. These are all things that we imagine today, but what I suggest is we stop imagining and we start building. And that is exactly what this EIFD enables. It's been a fallow for over 30 years. I believe Laney said 45 years. We've been involved in the project as the developer for 10 years. We've had Kevin Nagel and his team pursuing soccer in a stadium for 8 years. And for the community, it's been too many years. So let's build and let's make this happen today. I would just like to conclude that we do have two wonderful projects that are going to celebrate our city's history, a unique history, a history that is unique to only Sacramento, and it's our indomitable future, and we appreciate your support on this important project for Sacramento and the region. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. My name's Josh Leachman with Downtown Rail Yard Venture. Most days I go to work sitting in a construction trailer right next to these old buildings. I step out and I'm reminded daily how challenging these types of projects are. Yet I'm also reminded with the cooperation, the coordination with the city, the partnerships between private and public, that we can realize that vision, and so we can look forward and experience what you see on the screen today. The Rail Yards EIFD initiative and regional benefits. We're going to begin with 30 acres of open space focused on creating recreational and community engagement for Sacramento citizens. Transit connectivity, linking residents, visitors to transit hub, employment hubs, retail corridors. In fact, we're building a light rail station right now that will deliver excited fans to the doorstep of this new stadium. Circulation, connecting a street grid, connecting Natomas, connecting the River District, connecting West Sacramento through a new I Street Bridge, all possible. But you need places like the central shops, the soccer stadium, these activated uses. You need safer streets and corridors to make it so somebody wants to live downtown and allow for a diversity of housing opportunities. This redevelopment supports economic anchors not only in the rail yards but the River District and downtown Sacramento. Collectively, this area will rise. Everybody enjoys those iconic brick buildings. You walk in that space and it's very memorable. This plan creates an urban, mixed-use, transit-oriented development that preserves cultural and historic preservation. Looking at the rail yard's open space, we see 5 acres of riverfront parks connecting through a series of parks and a large regional park, anchoring on the east to a new stadium, all of which is pedestrian and bicycle friendly. We look at the progress to date, which we've touched on. A significant amount of time and resources have gone into the infrastructure. The decision before you today will add new safe pedestrian and vehicular connections. Just look at North B, already a challenging area. Imagine a safer condition on that northern boundary between these two projects. And then all the land uses this enables, tying together a fragmented area from River District, West Sacramento, and downtown. It all makes possible living at the rail yards. Our first residential project, the AJ, mixed income project, 345 units, 69 of which are affordable. You can just imagine the Republic Battalion walking on the off-street, marching, you will, on the off-street bike trail around the AJ, going east to the Sacramento Stadium. And then you have the Wong Center, 150 senior affordable housing units, a tremendous partnership with Mutual Housing, the Wong family, support from the City of Sacramento, SHRA, and DRV. And then you look at the telegrapher, the next phase of residential, a dynamic neighbor to the AJ. And then you have working opportunities anchored in the south with a new county courthouse, 18 stories, 53 new courtrooms, soon to open by the end of the year. And then we have the Foundry, 300,000 square feet, mixed-use office, just ready and waiting to capitalize on all this momentum. Wellness at the rail yards, Kaiser Permanente, starting construction, a wonderful moment for the rail yards, this region, an economic generator, a job generator, providing stability and health access for the greater Sacramento region. And then entertainment at the rail yards. As Denton mentioned, this was once an area of artisan and craftsmen taking care of rail cars produced by Southern Pacific. Now imagine a central shops plaza providing the entry gateway to Sac Valley Station, establishing transit early, anchored by modern entertainment, retail, and restaurants. Which brings us today, this pivotal decision point. And as our good friends over at the Sacramento Railroad Museum say, it's all aboard, next stop ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor McCarty, City Manager, esteemed members of the City Council, thank you for your time today. I stand here really incredibly proud. 12 years ago, we've been working on this, actually. 12 years we've been met with hurdle after hurdle, bump after bump, challenge after challenge. But one thing anyone who has spent any time in the city knows, if one path gets cut off, we find another or create another. The vote this afternoon and the subsequent development that will come from this vote is the culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of different people. This was not a single issue goal. This was a project we wanted to make sure benefited every and all, a project we could all stand and be proud of for many years to come. The landscape of the city has changed so much over the last 12 years, and now that change will continue to go at full speed. The economic plan speaks for itself, injecting billions of dollars into the economy, creating an incredible number of well-paying jobs, jobs of which many may be unionized. This economic plan continues to elevate Sacramento into a very desirable place to live among the nation's largest cities. Though today is a celebration of ingenuity and extreme focus, we would not be here if it were not for so many talented people who are in this room. First off, our former mayor, Darrell Steinberg, and his version of his city council. We just flat out wouldn't have been able to get this far without their vision and patience. No one loves this city more than Darrell. This journey was much more a relay as much as a marathon, and every good runner needs a teammate to help run the baton of progress. Chairman Jesus Tarango, Chris Franklin, and your councils, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing the vision and bringing an entire new set of eyes to augment and improve what we had in front of us. I look forward to working together over the next few years, improving our city even more than we already have. The President of Sacramento Republic, Todd Donovan. As a former player, Todd more than understands the feelings of success and failure. Todd has worked diligently through the process, and his blood pressure was likely to be in a better place now before when we began. Todd, well done. Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas has been there for me everywhere on every single project that I've done. Vision needs focus. Without it, an ideal is only just that. Michael, thank you for all your hard work and determination. Michael has really been my secret weapon, so take a bow. And lastly, I'd like to thank the supporters of the city of Sacramento and the surrounding areas. You welcomed me with open arms decades ago, and I've been in love with you from the start. Thank you for letting me do my part to give back to the best of my ability that you, and hopefully that I can give you the best that I really can. Thank you.
Kuchikalupa. I'm the great-great-great-grandson of Alec Blue, the great-great-grandson of Annie McKean Blue, the great-grandson of Irene McKean Daniels, the grandson of Alvin Daniels, and the son of Mary Tarango. And I want to open up that way so that the people here and the people watching understand Wilton Rancheria is not a business. We're a people. We have ties to this land, and we all come from someplace. I just want everybody to be mindful of that. Mayor McCarty, esteemed members of City Council, thank you. Thank you for your time today. On behalf of Wilton Rancheria, I want to say tangi como to the city and its staff, Republic FC, Kevin Nagel, Todd Donovan, to my people, our Vice Chairwoman Raquel Williams, our esteemed tribal council members that are all here today present, and the citizens of my great nation. And also my cousin Chris Franklin, who's our COO and mastermind behind everything that we're doing today. This has been a monumental week for Wilton Rancheria. On Sunday, we celebrated 16 years since the restoration of our federal recognition. Yesterday, we raised tribal flags at Sky River on a land that was once taken from us, and now that we have reclaimed as sovereign. And today, we carry that momentum forward. Our people have called the Sacramento Valley home since time immemorial, While the rail yards hold deep meaning for Sacramento and many stakeholders, they hold something different for us. It was the railroads that fueled westward expansion, and with it, the displacement and extermination of the native people. To now be in a position to reclaim that land, not just our ancestral homelands, but a site that represents a painful chapter of our history, it is an honor. We have endured unspeakable atrocities, forced removal from these lands, attempted genocide, and a systematic erasure of our identity. But we are still here, returning for what was taken from us. We cannot be defeated. And in many ways, that spirit lives in Sacramento too. A city that endures, a city that reinvents, and a city that refuses to yield. The stadium development in the rail yards will transform downtown, nearly doubling its current footprint. And as you've heard from our partners in community about the job benefits and positive impact, economic impacts and opportunities, this would be great for our region. But what I want you to take away from this is that we are not developers. Wilton Rancheria is not developers. We are not tenants. We are the stewards of this land. Before contact, the rivers used to provide for our people and carry our people. And here between the rivers, this was a gathering place. And today we have the opportunity to reclaim that legacy by creating a modern gathering place that honors our past and brings people together once again. I want to close by reflecting on the commitment that we made back in November. A promise to this land, a promise to the city of Sacramento, and to building something meaningful here. And while this journey has not been without its challenges, let me tell you, it has not. Today is a fulfillment of that promise. We are more than the history of this region. We are here to stay. We are its future. And we are indomitable. Tangi Como.
Oh.
You don't want to be the one following that, but I got that short straw today. I have so much gratitude for today, to all of you, to our ownership, to Kevin Nagel, who has held the torch for so long for this community, to Wilton Rancheria, to Chairman Tarango, to Chris Franklin, to the Tribal Council, Lorenzo Hines. I mean, the visionaries behind this, the support that we've gotten from you, we are so blessed and so thankful for you. To Michael Thomas and Jeff Kohler, unsung heroes on our side. There is a mountain of documents that got us here over the last 6 months and longer, and they were the minds behind that. Kevin Smith and Rob Hedrick, our workhorses on the stadium project, getting this done every single day with the city team, with our construction team. It's phenomenal. Our executive team, so lucky to have the best in the business, Scott Moak, John Jacobs, Dustin Vicari, Ben Mayberry, and Sarah Schubert leading our club every single day. So thankful for all of you. To our larger staff, our head coach, Neil Collins, who might have not gotten in. I don't know. There's a big crowd out there. And our entire technical staff, Connor Sutton, Andre Grace, and our former president, Ben Gumpert, who is here. Thank you, Ben. To our stadium team, Machete, Manica, HRA, Elevate, Turner, that'll be announced tomorrow. But so thankful to all of you for what we're about to do and what we're about to embark on. To DRV, Denton, Jay, Josh, and Frank, thank you for your partnership. To the city staff, Laney, Michael, Leslie, Marco, thank you for all the work. To our great mayors, to Mayor Steinberg and now to Mayor McCarty for your vision, your leadership, to the City Council, to all of you. This has been a lot of work. It has been great to work with you on this, to go through everything, to get your feedback and input, and all of the countless former staff that has been part of this. This has been long in the works, and so now to be where we are all working off of the backs of those who came before us, and there's a lot of staff that have been part of this. To our indomitable partners who are here today, our originals, UC Davis Health and Atlas, and lastly, they're so patient today, to our fans. Make some noise, you guys. You are so good. Thank you. We have the best in the business, and I can't believe they stayed quiet that long. So All right, wanted to go through a few things. We've talked a lot about our stadium. It's going to be 12,000 seats to start, but that is expandable. I think that is one of the coolest parts about it. We have the ability to let this stadium grow. This is our forever stadium, and whatever those needs are, we are up for that challenge and up for that growth. It is exciting. Sacramento has big ambitions, so does the club, and we're ready to hit on that when the time comes. The fan experience, this is going to be completely reimagined. We've all been to Heart Health Park. It is a first in our league type stadium, and we are going to take it to an entirely new level. It is going to be so exciting what we can do in our new stadium, and we can't wait to celebrate with everyone there. And it's not just going to be a soccer stadium. It's going to be an entertainment destination where we are going to be able to host all kinds of community events, concerts, all types of fun things. So not just the stadium, but also, that is the anchor for our redevelopment, but also a sports and entertainment district. This is something that is our long-term vision. Ownership's long-term vision is to not just have a stadium, but literally build a neighborhood surrounding the stadium so that it is a unique attribute, that we are genuinely embedded in the community. And with that comes housing, which is, as we all know, in California and the downtown core, a desperate need, regular housing, market rate housing, and also affordable housing. So we've talked about it. We heard, from the earlier presentation about the economics, but really wanted to address it. I mean, there's no downside here for the city of Sacramento. The risk is on the team, on DRV, ultimately to put up the money for the city's infrastructure, city roads, city streets, city sewers. So there will be no negative impact on the city budget. That is something that you are all going to have a meeting on this afternoon or this evening that, I don't envy you on. Your vote here doesn't impact that. That is the good news. And in the future, as we know, this is growing the pie is a good thing for Sacramento, and this is going to do that in a major, major way. Huge numbers, $4.4 billion in economic activity, 24,000 jobs, and over $2 billion in annual wages. Mind-boggling numbers. This is what we do best. We're good on the field. We do a lot in the stadium, but what we do best has always been outside of the stadium in our community. This is where we thrive. This is why we were honored, to be the corporate champion for Sacramento in terms of what we do in the community. There's nobody better than Scott Moak at this. He leads our community team, and we are so proud of what this new stadium is going to, and the opportunities it's going to provide for that. So what's next? First, we're asking for your unanimous support today. This has been a long time coming. We have all worked so hard together to get to this point, and a positive vote here is quickly leading to groundbreaking this summer and ultimately to deliver Sacramento the stadium that it deserves and that we all have been working for a very, very long time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo! Go Sac!
So with that, staff recommends council passing two resolutions. So there's one resolution that's related to execution of the definitive documents to implement the 24 term sheet, and another resolution related to expansion of the EIFD. With that, that concludes our presentation, and we'll open it up to any questions that anyone has.
Okay, we'll get to questions and comments from the mayor and council after public comment. We have roughly 50 speakers. We're asking you keep your comments to 2 minutes or less, and if you can, keep it to roughly a minute. Then we can get on with the deliberations and get that positive vote that many of you are looking for. So with that, let's call our public speakers. I'd like to call our first public speaker, an individual that doesn't need a lot of introduction, but worked hard on this for many years, leading our city of Sacramento, Mayor Darrell Steinberg.
Thank you. What a great honor to be here, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council and City staff. I want to begin by thanking you and the council and the staff for carrying the torch and for your strong and steadfast leadership over these last months. As you know, I was the mayor who had the privilege to help lead the effort with many of you last fall to put this 5-party agreement together. It was give and take, as anything important to be accomplished always requires. It was especially important and with humility impressive, because our lead investors, the Wilton Rancheria, our friends, reclaiming their ancestral lands, had and have other location choices to build both the stadium and another downtown entertainment district, housing all amounting, as the staff indicates, to hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. They had the choice to locate in several worthy communities, and they chose Sacramento. After decades of working and hoping that the historic rail yards would realize its incredible potential, now is the time once again, like last November, to say yes without conditions or amendments. Every project stands on its own unique geography, community, and circumstances. In the case of the rail yards, with the exception of some beginning development, there is no neighborhood at risk of displacement or pricing people out. And with the exception of the EIFD, which is an appropriate and I would argue essential investment tool for city infrastructure, this project is being entirely financed by a tribal nation that sees the rail yard sacred and historic past and its dynamic future. This is a generational opportunity and decision for Sacramento. The people of our city deserve more opportunity, more vitality, more destination, and more fun. And I strongly urge an aye vote. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I told them no grace.
Well done, Mayor Steinberg. I was looking forward to cutting you off at 2 minutes. Our next speaker is Jasdeep Uppal. Jasdeep Uppal. Carrie Miskett. Carrie's in the lobby, if someone can let Carrie in. And I'm going to call a few names. Feel free to line up in the aisle. Following Carrie is Ernesto Delgado, then Bobby Singh Allen.
Mayor and esteemed members of the City Council, thank you for allowing us an opportunity to make comments on this. I'm here representing Crown Downtown. We support the implementation of Sacramento Republic and the FC preliminary term sheet. For over 3 decades, the Sacramento Rail Yard has stayed empty. We have a great partner with the Wilton Rancheria and want to invest in the city of Sacramento. The development of a new soccer pitch and entertainment facility and surrounding enhanced infrastructure financing district is a positive for Sacramento and the 7 surrounding county mega region that we have. This is going to bring permanent jobs and a much-needed progress in long, previously neglected area of Sacramento. The city will not be subsidizing this construction of the soccer stadium, but will be a good partner in helping the infrastructure and rebates. This is a great opportunity for Sacramento, just as the Golden One Center was. This is an easy yes vote. This is bigger than soccer, full speed ahead. Thank you, everybody.
Carrie Miskett. Following Carrie is Ernesto. Then Mayor Bobby Singh Allen.
Good afternoon. My name is Carrie Miskett. I'm the COO of Visit Sacramento, speaking on behalf of the Rail Yard Stadium. As all of you know, tourism has become an increasingly important part of our regional economy, with those visitors supporting our local businesses and their employees. Sports and outdoor events have become central to Sacramento's ability to attract tourists, and the stadium project would open new doors in that area. Fans would be coming from across the region and well beyond, bringing in those valuable tourism resources to our local businesses, to our government partners, and of course, bring in some fun and excitement for our residents to enjoy. And moreover, that stadium could attract new festivals and events that could bring even more tourism to the region. So we urge you to support this project with Sacramento's future in mind. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Ernesto Delgado, Mayor Bobby Singh Allen, Michael Alt.
Come on, Michael.
So Mayor Singh Allen, and then Michael, then Chris Mechanic.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Bobby Singh Allen. I'm the proud mayor of the city of Elk Grove. I come before you today in strong support for the stadium, for the soccer stadium in the rail yards. I'm also a strong partner and ally with the Wilton Rancheria. I can tell you personally that they are wonderful partners. Sacramento and the entire region deserves a world-class stadium, and I can't think of a better place than the rail yards. I encourage you all to support this transformative project, and in doing so, you will be lifting the ancestral voices of the tribe. Thank you again for your time.
Michael Alt, then Chris Mechanic.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Michael Alt with the Downtown Partnership. To say this is an exciting day is an understatement. The amount of calls and feedback we've received at our offices related to the momentum, what this would mean to Sacramento. The rail yards is not just a development project, it's the beginning of a new era for Sacramento. We have seen firsthand what the economic development impacts have been with the Golden One Center in downtown. We've seen over $7 billion of investment in and around downtown Sacramento after the development of that arena in 2016. The rail yards presents the next generation of that type of investment. And with the opportunity and looking at the EIFD, the city is positioning itself, we feel, for a sustainable long-term opportunity for growth and sustainability for us. You know, as Chairman Tarango talked a little bit about, this doubles the size of downtown. There are very few cities in the U.S. that have an opportunity to remake and double the size of their central business district. This is a chance for us really to think how we are going to complement each other. Later in the year, we're going to talk a little bit about investments on our waterfront, additional hotels. We've seen investments with the convention center. This really begins to piece together the puzzle for us. You add in families, activities going to these events, adding new housing, the hospitality benefit that this is going to have. You know, as Todd talked about, Business Journal identified this project can generate almost $4.5 billion of additional investment and momentum for this region. We are not just recovering, we are leading in the way of economic development. This is a game changer for this community. We appreciate the council's opportunity to move this forward with DRV, Indomitable, Wilton Rancheria, Sac Republic, Kaiser. This is making a difference and will change the way this city is perceived and moves forward. We urge you to support this project. Thank you.
Chris Mechanic. Following Chris is Ernesto Delgado, then Carla Collins.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Chris Makinich, and I originally was going to talk about some of the job opportunities and financial aspects, but you know, I'm going to forget that. I'm going to go for something a little more important to me, something that's important to me. I am a soccer mom. I am a local Sacramentoan. I have a fourth generation Sacramentoan. I grew up going to Arco Arena, going to watch the Sacramento Knights. Youth sports in Sacramento has been something that I grew up with. My parents used to own a sports bar, and I grew up loving sports in Sacramento. I used to go to the River Rats roller hockey at Cal Expo. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but I've always loved the spirit of sports and athletics here in Sacramento. I am a proud mother of a young man that is an athlete. He's in competitive sports in Elk Grove. My husband and I, we've been coaches of his different sports that he's played ever since he was about 4 years old. Every year, we have taken our soccer teams to Sac Republic matches so that those children, age 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they are able to experience what world-class soccer is in Sacramento. We would be able to watch the kids on Thursday at practice. You know, they're playing one way. They go to the Sac Republic match on Saturday night. The next practice on Tuesday, they come back with a new fire in their belly. Professional sports is needed in Sacramento. We need a proper stadium for that. We need something that Sacramento can be proud of. And again, with the location, as soon as I heard, I was born and raised in Elk Grove and Sacramento, seeing that Wilton Rancheria was coming up and putting together the rail yards brought so much pride to my growing up in Sacramento. Please vote yes on this. Thank you.
Ernesto Delgado, Carla Collins. Ernesto Delgado, Carla Collins, Sharon Anderson, Dan Branton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Ernesto Delgado here, small business owner, community leader, and just a proud Sacramentan. I'm here just to say a few words. I think I love soccer. Latinos love soccer. We all love soccer. I think we need soccer for our kids. We need soccer for everyone to just come visit our downtown. I think our downtown really needs this opportunity. I know it's always very budgetary, but I like to say, you know, everyone told me no when it was. I hate to compare a big stadium arena to La Cosecha, but everyone told me no. It wasn't possible. There was no funds. It was not possible. I didn't have the funds. The city didn't have the funds. But when you want to achieve something, you want something for your community, for your city, I believe we can make it happen because I made La Cosecha happen. Very different, I understand, but we need this to bring our downtown back, and I would appreciate all your votes for it because it's important to me, it's important to our community, it's important to our downtown. You see, everyone tells me that if, you know, what La Cosecha does for our plaza, for our downtown, I see you all there, right? It's a beautiful amenity that all of us have provided for our community, for our citizens, and it's just an amazing thing to walk.
Thank you for your comments. Your 2 minutes is complete. Our next speaker is Carla Collins, then Sharon Anderson.
Hello, good afternoon, City Council. I'm Carla Collins with Matroscope Engineering Laboratories, a construction support services firm that's headquartered in Sacramento in the River District, just a mile from the rail yard site. I'm also on the board for Construction Management Association of America as a past president. And in the nearly 20 years that I've been in the construction industry, I've seen lots of plans for the rail yard site. But this one with a new soccer and entertainment center and stadium is by far the most exciting. So with this, it's not going to only connect downtown, but also where we have a business in the River District, making it more safe and vibrant and walkable. I see lots of familiar faces in the room. In 2011, 2013, I stood up here at this podium and was part of the Think Big, if everybody remembers that, trying to keep the Kings in Sacramento and ultimately build a new sports and entertainment center. And so it's really exciting to see the vibrance, the dedication, and the excitement for what we could do with the Sac Republic team and further revitalize the downtown and make it a catalyst for leveling up Sacramento into the next level. Want to thank the City of Sacramento, the Sac Republic team, Wilton Rancheria Tribe for their dedication for stepping up, and I encourage a yes vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Sharon Anderson.
Sorry, one more thing. There's also lots of support online from Crown Downtown to supporting.
Sharon Anderson, and then Dan Branton.
Hello, Mayor McCarty is not there anymore. Okay. Hello, Sharon Anderson. I am, as these guys can attest, I'm probably the #1 fan. I have a podcast dedicated to the whole thing, whatever, and I have 3 other co-hosts that are probably listening right now and laughing at me because I'm up here. But I've been a fan. I've been a worker at Sac Republic in the early days. I helped found some of the infrastructure that they have, including where they currently train. So way to go, Sac Republic, for continuing on this wonderful journey. Really appreciate the Wilton Rancheria stepping up. I live in Elk Grove. I drive to all the games that are a long ways away, but I'm fine with that. We need a proper stadium, as Chris mentioned earlier. We need a proper stadium. It's grown old. We love our little pop-up stadium that we have at Cal Expo, but the next step is here. It's before you. We need to vote yes on that. Okay, all right. I see some people with the same jersey I'm wearing. Thank you, Katie. So just go forward, and I appreciate your presentations, all the staff's presentations. They were fabulous. They were educational. Anybody watching online, you can go back and reflect through all of that. It's an amazing opportunity. We, in Elk Grove, we have a phrase, we dream big, and this is part of the city of Sacramento and the whole region's ability to dream big and make this happen. So thank you for your vote.
Dan Branton, then David Baker.
Hello, Council. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name's Dan Branton. I'm a senior field rep for the NorCal Carpenters Union. I'm also a soccer dad and a season ticket holder to the Sac Republic. I just want to say that the Sac Rail Yards Soccer Stadium is a project that we should build. I know that we're going to be looking at budget later today. I want to point out that this is an economic driver. The project meets the goals and objectives of the EIFD, and I urge that we avoid politics and that we get this thing built. I want to bring attention to the tribe and Sac Republic to their commitment to building this union. That means careers, not just jobs. We're talking medical, retirement, apprenticeship, really construction workers putting food on the table. Turner Construction is set to build this, and they're one of the best of the best. You look at the legacy of projects that they've had. That's the resource building, the Golden One Center, the Concourse Terminal B, the Capitol Annex, and on and on and on. They are a top-tier contractor that's going to do really well for us. Not building this is really a missed opportunity for the city, for our community, and the working class in all fields. Sacramento is a place where all these freeways converge, and this is our opportunity to kind of take ourselves to the next level and become an economic destination. I urge approval of the construction of this project, and thank you guys for your time.
Dr. David Baker, then we've got some folks outside that'll be coming in.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor, and nice to see you again, and council members. I really appreciate the chance to talk about this. I'm the CEO, David Baker, of the Sacramento Children's Home. We're sitting, our historic campus sits in Katie's district, in District 5, but we have crisis nurseries and family resource centers in District 7 and District 2, and we really serve the entire Sacramento City, the county, and generally the whole region. We've been serving Sacramento for 158 years, providing support for vulnerable children and families. I just came to speak a little bit about what goes unnoticed sometimes, and I'm glad you mentioned it a little bit, is really the commitment that Sac Republic, and I'm very excited to have Wilton Rent and Sharia on board as well now too, the commitment that they've made to the community. What they do for nonprofits in this community is tremendous. That they've had, I could go through a whole list, but I've only got a minute of the different things they do around scholarships and supporting nonprofits and providing youth sports and providing opportunities for kids and families. Excited about this project. Excited about the opportunity for some affordable housing. I think a lot of the children and families that we serve struggle in that area, and we're looking forward to partnering and connecting folks that way. But I think that it often goes unnoticed the amount of work that these folks do for nonprofits and for kids and families in this community. And I really feel like the stadium could really be a hub for not only for youth sports and for entertainment, but could also to lift up and really help support children and families. And I look forward to them and all the work that they do and they can continue to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. John Pellman. Next speaker is John Pellman, Brianna Joy Thompson, Michelle Stoffel, Rachel Rios, then Deshaun Spencer.
Good afternoon. My name is John Pellman. I'm the Director of Curriculum Instruction for a free charter high school in Sacramento called Capital College and Career Academy. You might ask, why is an educator here standing in front of you? We're often asked as educators to educate students for the jobs of the future. At my school, we happen to have a deep connection with the construction industry, and we are eternally grateful for the support we've gotten from the NorCal Carpenters Union, as well as Turner Construction. At our school, we create that bond, that link between us and creating a pipeline into those jobs of the future, and those jobs of the future hopefully will be happening at the rail yards. Our students participate in job shadows. We go out and we bring in industry partners to work with our students, and our hope is that some of our students someday will be working down at the rail yards to support this project. We are appreciative of the support we've received from so many folks within the industry, but in particular, the Turner and the Carpenters Union has been outstanding supporters of us, and we stand in support of them and hopeful that this project will go forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Brianna, then Michelle. Brianna, then Michelle.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Stoffel. I've been a member of IBW for a few years now, and I'm president of the IBW 340s Women's Committee. Today, I ask you to support Sacramento Rail Yard EIFD. During my time as a union member, I have had the opportunity to work on several projects, and I got to learn a lot of these projects, and I got to grow in a lot of these projects. Working in Sacramento, working local has been big benefit for me. And I'm now an instructor with NCCT, Northern California Construction Training. It is an amazing program, where I would love to have these students learn on projects that are local. Being able to teach students and get them into apprenticeships and get them into projects that they get to learn and build their careers and stay local is a huge opportunity for them. When there's not enough local work, our apprentices will have to travel. And traveling takes away from your home time. It takes away from your family time. It takes away your personal time. So I really support having more local work for our apprenticeships. Please support the EIFD for the rail yards so we can move the process forward so we can continue to invest in Sacramento. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Brianna, then Rachel Rios. Brianna, then Rachel Rios, then Deshawn.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Brianna Joy Thompson. I'm at a local 713 Carpenters Local. I'm a coordinator at the Pleasanton Training Center for the Carpenters Training Center, excuse me. From what it is that I have read about this budget over the course of 9 years, it would bring a lot of revenue to the city of Sacramento. I have apprentices that I communicate with regularly that live in places like Napa, Sacramento, Stockton, Yuba City, that are driving to San Francisco on the daily basis looking for work, not even having work, but looking for work. I believe that this project, if it is pushed through into its completion with the expansion of it, I think that would produce a lot of work for our apprentices. I think not only would it be of great benefit for the carpenters, it would be of great benefit for the pipe fitters, the electricians, the plumbers, the laborers, everyone who is in here, whether they are for it or against it. I believe that at the same time that it will, it will provide a great opportunity with things like Job Corps being cut, with Job Train being under the radar. We have upwards of 20,000 young people who now have no idea where it is that they are going and what it is that they will be doing in life, because these opportunities that they thought they were going to have, that they had set in themselves in position to obtain, are no longer there. I implore you to pass this budget. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rachel Rios. So let's take Deshawn and then Rachel.
Good afternoon. My name is Deshawn Spencer, and I'm proud to speak on behalf of the Greater Sacramento Economic Council in support of this transformative project. This project is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to double the size of our downtown, build out one of the largest infill developments in the country, which has been vacant for over 30 years, since the 90s, and it will position Sacramento as a leader in the multi-trillion-dollar sports and entertainment industries. And above all, we'll make history as the Wilton Rancheria tribe reclaims their native lands and becomes the first North American tribe to own a professional men's sports team. This council has proven that investment, leadership, and community collaboration can create transformative growth in our region and in our city. We saw it with Golden One Center, we saw it with Aggie Square, and the Rail Yards project is no different. To those unconvinced, let's ground ourselves in the facts. $92 million will be invested by developers for this project. This is upfront for new infrastructure, roads, streets, greenways, parks, and more, all of which will be reimbursed in new property taxes generated at no taxpayer expense. This development will create over 23,000 total jobs, $2.11 billion in annual wages, and $4.4 billion in economic impact. It'll generate $518 million in incremental property taxes over its lifespan. Each year, it'll grow the city's tax base and chip away at the deficit. And 20% of this revenue will be used for affordable housing projects. That's over $100 million locked in for affordable housing. This is more than just soccer. This is more than just the rail yards. This investment is also catalyzing. It'll open the door to develop the Macy's building and 301 Capitol Mall and continue construction of Kaiser's 18-acre medical center and so much more for our city. GSEC would like to give a special thank you to Mayor McCarty, former Mayor Steinberg, the Wilton Rancheria Tribe, Kevin Nagel, Kaiser, and the Kelly family for their unwavering commitment to this effort. By approving today's resolutions, we will take another bold step forward to revitalize our downtown, create thousands of good-paying jobs, and invest in the city we all love to call home. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rachel Rios, and then Devin Strucker.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. My name is Rachel Rios. I'm the Executive Director of La Familia Counseling Center. And I am here to say that we are proud partners with the Republic. They have not only invested in our community by creating the very first community futsal court, but they continue to support our young people by offering access to games that a lot of times they would not otherwise have, having sports clinics in our facilities and in the community. Ours was the first futsal court in the community, but they've done 5 others since then. So they have been involved and committed to our Sacramento community way before this project. They've demonstrated their commitment to us. And so we support them. Again, there are not very many opportunities for families and children to be able to go and to recreate together and to build strong families, which is super important, especially right now. The Sac Republic offers those opportunities. So we support this program. We know that this is not just a stadium. We know that this is an opportunity for community engagement. We know this is an opportunity for jobs and economic development. So we strongly urge your support for this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Devin Strecker, then Jed.
Good afternoon. I'm Devin Strecker, Executive Director of the River District, also a resident. We are proud partners of DRV, the Rail Yards, and Sacramento Republic FC. And this is what we've been waiting for. This will attract an estimated $325 million in upfront investments for construction of the soccer stadium and central shops renovation, with $4.4 billion in ongoing annual economic impact. The River District specific plan was written in 2011, but we did not see the level of development that we anticipated. The city is currently updating the River District specific plan, but this will have a huge catalytic effect on development in the River District. Already, after the announcement last fall that Wilton Rancheria would be partnering with Sac Republic to build the stadium and the rail yards, we've seen a great deal of interest in our underutilized parcels. With the recent news about Blue Diamond leaving its historic campus in the River District, we have a unique opportunity to go big and build the Sacramento that we all want to see. Dense, walkable, connected by public transit, and with world-class sports, entertainment, food, and recreation. I encourage you to please vote yes on this project. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Jed Dohab. Jed Dohab. Following Jed is Alan Green, then Jamie Torres. I have 33 more speakers.
Evening. I'm actually the only parent from the Sacramento Republic Academy, and I'm representing parents from the Sacramento Republic, and we've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. Kids are waiting from the Sacramento area for this opportunity to watch big games and invite bigger teams here. Sacramento actually doing a great job to actually develop a young Sacramento soccer players. So we urge you guys to actually vote for this opportunity here for Sacramento, because it will bring more team here that are actually at a higher level, that with kids that cannot force parents to go to other venue and watch big soccer games. So it will be great to actually vote for this opportunity. Thank you so much for your help, and I hope to actually have this field actually starting 2027 in Sacramento. Thank you all.
Thank you for your comments. Alan Green, then Jamie Torres.
Hello, my name is Alan Green. I'm a trade instructor with Northern California Construction Training and a proud Laborers Local 185 member. This project, I'm 100% in favor for. It's going to create jobs for my students. Some of them are formerly incarcerated. Some of them are homeless. Some of them are in recovery. Through our program, we link them with the contractors that are building these projects. They're going to help them start their career, buy those houses, build those pensions, and live that American dream that all of us want. We are Sac Republic fans. We do lots of projects My students were just building these benches for the Sac Republic that were donated to schools across Sacramento for suicide awareness. My students were proud to be a part of that project, as well as other projects there at Cal Expo. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Jim Gonzalez. Jamie Torres, Jim Gonzalez, Lionel Berrigan.
Correction, it's Jaime Torres. So, Mayor, City Council, thank you for taking the time and listening to us today. Thank you for the Wilton Rancheria, who's seen a need to invest and actually gain grounds on their historical territory. And I'm thrilled that there's going to be an opportunity now to actually enjoy world-class concerts here in town. Not just a venue for sports, but a different opportunity where we're not just a pit stop on a Wednesday for a major band that's going to go play somewhere in the Bay Area. I want these investments to stay here in town. I want the hotels. I want the revenue for every single avenue in the city of Sacramento. I want our neighbors here in West Sacramento to cash in as well. I want everybody in the county to be benefiting from the entertainment, the reality that we're going to have teenagers that are actually just graduating these weeks from high school have an opportunity when they don't want to go to college. They want to join the workforce. They want to see the values and the tenets that their parents lived out to. Some of their neighbors and family members that actually engaged, and they know that they cannot perform and they do not want to go to college because it is not something accessible to them. It is not something within their taste. I want the working class to be available not only in my trade, I want all the building trades to have this opportunity to keep their trust fund going, to engage in their pensions, engage in the fringe benefits going to an opportunity that's going to be present. And this will be something that'll actually anchor these future jobs for our future generations. Thank you very much once again, and have a wonderful day.
Jim Gonzalez, Lionel Berrigan, Kathy Rodriguez, Joseph Atkins.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Lionel Berrigan. I'm a longtime Sacramento resident who fully supports this project. Both of my kids play soccer in the local community. Our families have been long-term supporters of the Sacramento Republic. Regarding this project, it will create local jobs for our construction workforce. Let's build and work in Sacramento. Instead of traveling to the Bay Area for work and missing out on valuable family time, which we never gain back. Thank you.
Lionel.
Mayor McCarty, council members, Mayor Steinberg. Pleasure to be with you. I am the chair of the Latino Economic Council. We were born in the days of seeing the first proposal fall apart for the Sacramento Republic. And our mission at that time was that we're not going to be left out of the next opportunity. The Latino community cannot be a victim of benign neglect. And so our council came together working with Rachel Rios and a variety of other community leaders to really be here for those projects that create community pride, equity, and progress towards Sacramento being a world-class city. And this project checks all the boxes. I see our brothers and sisters in labor here today, and it checks a very important box of real, well-paying union jobs. And one of the things that every community has to worry about is displacement. We've seen the exodus of jobs and talent and youth from California. Luckily, here in Sacramento, this council, this community is continuing to create opportunities to stop the exodus of jobs, talent, and youth. So I commend everybody, and please let's move this stream forward. Thank you.
For your comments, Kathy Rodriguez, Joseph Atkins.
Sorry, Rowan, I'm at the point where I need my glasses now. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kathy Rodriguez Aguirre, and I'm the president and CEO for the Sacramento Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Our chamber has members of businesses throughout the Sacramento region. I'm here today in support of advancing the development of the rail yards. Today is the day we will look back on the day we chose to make big dreams come true. Every day that we drive by the current rail yards, we see opportunity. And now here in front of us is a project that is transformative and community-driven. It is opportunity that we have been all hoping for, and now many thanks to many partners, a lot that has been vacant for more than 50 years is going to be our regional catalyst. The economic impact of the Rail Yard Stadium is great, with more than $8 billion in construction impact expected and the creation of thousands of jobs for our region. Through the Sac Republic FC games, international sporting events, and community gatherings, this development will bring thousands of people to the downtown area and the neighboring corridors. With approval of our Sacramento City Council, this development is ready to go. The design process is underway, the partners are on board, and infrastructure improvements have been made. The expected opening is 2027. That's less than 2 years away. The Rail Yard Stadium is going to encourage development for shopping, restaurants, and housing to build on what will become the next great gem for Sacramento and our entire region. In these challenging times, I'm excited to be here to support this Rail Yard Stadium project. And though it is about more than soccer, there's something special about having a sport that is played globally and brings people together of every background to cheer on their teams, to be at the core of what will be an incredible transformation. Having Wilton Rancheria as the first Native American nation to own a majority share of a major men's professional sports team, also be a key partner in building the stadium, should bring us all an incredible, some may say indomitable, pride. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Joseph Atkins. Joseph, then Evan Schmidt.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Joe Atkins, and I'm speaking today as a representative of Land Park Soccer Club, a youth recreational soccer club. We call District 7 home, proudly represented by Councilmember Jennings, while supporting children and families from District 5 with Councilmember Maple, as well as District 4 with Councilmember Talamontes. Each season, Land Park rosters about 1,200 youth players across Sacramento, and the game is thriving in our region. For years, Sacramento Republic has been a true partner, supporting our athletes and families. Their coaching staff has volunteered at our clinics, their players have shown up at our tournaments, and their club has provided scholarships for undeserved players in the system. In my 11 seasons as a head coach in Land Park, Sac Republic has provided training, guidance, and exposure for both me and my players. Because of this, I started playing pickup soccer at the age of 43. Because of this, I believe the stadium represents even more than a venue. It's a pipeline of opportunity. For our kids, it's a tangible dream to follow the lead of Republic's homegrown talent like Blake Wiley, Chibi Ukebu, and Davion Kimbrough, to play under those lights, to go pro one day, or to simply grow as teammates and leaders. By investing in this community-first stadium, you're investing in kids from every zip code, especially those who need a little extra support. And you're investing in the social networks of Sacramento at a time when we need connections more than ever. Land Park Soccer Club is proud to support this project. We hope you'll move it forward for the game, for our city, and for every young player looking for their shot. Thank you for your time.
Evan, then Robert Briggs.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Evan Schmidt. I'm the CEO of Valley Vision. Valley Vision works with public, private, and community partners to advance equitable economic growth, environmental sustainability, and a high quality of life across the Sacramento region. We lead the region's California Jobs First efforts named We Prosper Together here in the region, which is a regional collaborative advancing inclusive economic development and workforce strategies. We're here today in strong support of the rail yard's development and establishing an EIFD at the rail yard site to unlock critical infrastructure investment and move forward transformative development. This project aligns squarely with Valley Vision's mission to drive long-term economic opportunity, create good jobs across priority sectors, and strengthen the foundation for inclusive regional growth. The rail yards is one of the largest infill development opportunities in the nation. This project is expected to generate over $4.4 billion in annual economic impact and create more than 20,000 jobs across sectors such as healthcare, construction, business services, and the creative economy. This investment will represent the kind of smart, future-focused development that our region needs. With a new downtown medical center already underway, 10,000 housing units planned, and expanded arts, culture, and entertainment venues envisioned, this project will help reshape Sacramento's urban core and ripple benefits across our region. This EIFD enables significant investment in our regional economy, and the Rail Yards project provides the opportunity for inclusive, accessible living wage jobs. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to realize a bold, inclusive vision for Sacramento's future, and Valley Vision is very proud to support it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Robert Briggs, the Neildon Jen Charles.
Mr. Mayor, council members, I want to thank you, first of all, for your service to our great city here in Sacramento. My congregation pray regularly for you that you would continue to have wisdom as you govern over our city. My name is Robert Briggs. I'm a pastor of Emmanuel Baptist Church here in Sacramento, about 1 mile that way. And I'm also the executive director of the Union Gospel Mission, which is about 1 mile that way. And I've been here in this city for 22 years, but as you can tell, I'm not a Sacramentan by birth. But I do like to regard myself as an adopted son of this great city. I've also had the privilege to be the volunteer chaplain of the Sacramento Republic since its very conception. As a Scotsman, football is in my blood, and I'm sure it will continue that way. You know that you've heard all the economic metrics that have been set before you today, and what excitement that must bring to many of us who've been in this great city. But for some of you, you might not all be quite aware just how global and unifying football or soccer actually is. You've heard that thousands of families play this game every single weekend. I actually was a coach in Land Park for 11 years with my girls, and I've got some great memories, and girls still contact me across the country from those great days. I am persuaded, as one who works amongst the homeless here in the city, that this soccer stadium is a vital addition. And indeed, the whole regeneration of the rail yards is a huge addition to our city. The infrastructure will only improve things in the socio-economic element. We know that jobs, leisure and housing are all very, very important. I believe that under God, the future of this city is very
Thank you
bright.
for your comments. Your time is complete.
If we work
Our
together.
next speaker is Neildon Jen Charles, then Jamison Parker. So Neildon, then Jamison Parker, then Macworthy.
Hello, council members. Neil John Charles, senior agent of the Local 46, Northern California Carpenters Union. The EIFD is put in place to help this development move forward. This is a long-awaited project that we've all been waiting for in Sacramento. When this project was first announced in 2015, everyone got really excited about it. Fast forward 2021, the project didn't go through, right? It failed. And we were really disappointed about that. And we saw this recently happen in El Grove, right, with the Sacramento Zoo, the North State University, and we don't want to have a repeat of this right here with this project. This is the closest we've been to actually having this project move forward, and we're looking forward to making sure that it does. We have Turner Construction, who's a very reputable union company. They're going to be putting a lot of local folks to work, paying good wages, utilizing an apprenticeship program that is investing into the current workforce and also the new upcoming workforce. We also have the Wilton Rancheria, who stepped in financially to make this project happen. Then we have the Sacramento FC, who's ready to take us to the championship level, right? And hopefully get us to MLS, right? Who knows what the future holds. And then we have the city, who has the control button to basically make this thing happen. It's in your hand. We do have a gold mine here, right? And we're asking for the approval of the EIFD. Plenty of folks are relying on you right now to make this the right decision, and we're asking you to approve the EIFD. The NorCal Carpenters Union is strongly in support of the EIFD as it stands right now. Thank you.
Jamison Parker, then Macworthy.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. Jamison Parker on behalf of the Midtown Association, a property-based improvement district in the urban core representing over 1,300 properties with the mission of making Midtown the center for culture and creativity in our urban core. And while this project isn't in Midtown, we are here to support it because we understand its regional impact and the positive opportunity that it creates for so many. The stadium and the larger rail yards development can further cement Sacramento as a destination of choice in our region. The project accomplishes everything that we are collectively striving for as a city. It activates an underutilized site, it builds on our sales tax revenue, and it brings thousands of new residents, employees, and visitors to our urban core through a mix of housing, healthcare, and entertainment and commercial development. As the rail yards continues to take shape, the resulting foot traffic and private investments will direct and have positive impact on restaurants, storefronts, and our local businesses in Midtown and across our central city. These types of projects generate sustained economic activity and help our small businesses thrive, support job creation, and continue our urban core as a vibrant place that we want it to be. We appreciate the city's leadership in advancing this plan and look forward to continuing to support it and the implementation in ways that can uplift our business community and contribute to Sacramento's continued growth. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mac Worthy, then Alexander Rosito. Following Mr. Worthy is Alexander Rosito, then Kevin Brown.
Good afternoon. The same words I uttered when the arena. I don't oppose you having this, but this is a trip. This is on the theater that we see here today. Nobody can identify the amount of money they invested here. Personal money, not a word. Where is the track record as a team? The same thing with the Kings. Where's that track record? Now, the Princess, young black men couldn't pass a urine test. Where are they today? In jail? Now, we see this coming in here, nonprofit. In the arena, how your babies getting in. The nonprofit, 1,000 of my IRS told me, you buy those tickets and their babies go in, the nonprofit. That's what keeps them going. Ain't no money here, people. Now, I could challenge this all the way across the street. You have a problem here of a deficit. This is not how you close your deficit. This is not how you're still lying. People, I was in business for 59 years here. Right here. I'm not asking for a job. I'm going to say, you got people sit here and lie and lie and lie. Where is the growth of this city? 44 years ago, people, I raised the same issue in Oak Park. Why are we still here facing the same issue, low-income housing? Huh? Because they refuse to help people invest. Equity in your property. Equity in your property, and you could have built all your low-income housing. That would have been a supplement dollar to you people coming in instead of depending on your government. I told you it was coming. It's here. I tried to show you when Trump went in. He's a mastermind. Just to see a theater here that Trump used. People wake up. I'm still here.
Thank you for your comments. Alexander Rosito, then Kevin Brown, then Kevin Fiera.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and honorable members. My name is Alexander Rosito, and I'm appearing on behalf of the California Hotel and Lodging Association in support of the Rail Yards project. As you've all heard today and are very familiar with, tourism is one of the great economic engines of this city, impacting city revenues, jobs, and quality of life. We've seen what happens when this city supports catalysts such as the Golden One Center, and we've heard extensively what will happen if the city supports the Rail Yards project. Stand in strong support today, and in the interest of keeping things short, respectfully request your support. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Kevin Brown, then Kevin Fiera.
Good afternoon, Mayor, and to our council and to the staff. My name is Kevin Brown, CEO of People Working Together, and we strongly support the EIFD, right? I want to say this, delayed does not mean denied. Years ago, when we were running up to the Golden One Arena, I was honored to sit on the steering committee, which consisted of chambers and things of this nature. But listening to Michael Alt and some other speakers, and especially Chairman Terang, reminded me that we use and really had aspirations that the Golden One would be a catalyst to stimulate other type relationships and projects, both on the public side and also on the private side. We have a developer on the private side that wants to invest in this community, in this region, to provide something that is going to be transformative, something that we, as a workforce readiness entity, can partner alongside of all the other partners that can benefit and provide a true social and economic catalyst for people that are hurting in these days. People that are surnamed in the CWTA, all those impoverished zip codes. We have an opportunity to use this development and others to come as a mechanism to really provide sustainable living careers, not just in the construction sectors, but the emerging economies as well. And so I strongly encourage you to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Kevin Fiera. Following Kevin is Lambert, then Amir Dean.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members, and staff. Kevin Ferreira, Sacramento Sierra Building and Construction Trades Council. This is a long time coming. This was built on, we are here because of partnerships, with the developers, with the city, and with the Wilton Rancheria. That is with its leader of Chairman Jesus. We have the building trades. We established our partnership with Wilton Rancheria, building Sky River. It's been successful. We are looking forward to continuing that partnership with the soccer stadium and beyond. Some projects take a while. Back in the day, I was a sniper in the Marine Corps. When we're out on missions, we move with, our movements are slow and deliberate. And that's what happened here. Every move to get to this point was slow and deliberate. We're finally here. The mission's going to be successful with your vote to approve the EIFD. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Lambert. Lambert, then Amir Dean, then Frank Garcia. Is Lambert here? There we go. Lambert, Amir, Frank, then Paco.
Yes, Lambert Davis, founder and CEO of To the Bay and Back Cheesecakes. I am a native, and I do want to send some shouts out to people. I was on the road, and I have a tremendous millennial following, and they keep me busy. I wanted people working together. I would like to meet with him after this is over with. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, Mr. Nagel. Did I pronounce that correctly? Because someone brought to my attention about Indomitable Ventures, and I think it's very fascinating what you do. And I hope I can get a card from you before I leave. And then I would like to say that to Chairman Jesus Tarango and Wilton Rancheria, I've encountered you a couple of times, and I'm very proud for you and the Wilton Rancheria. This is your land, so it's not like you don't deserve it. The last time I was here, I did say make sure you study the soil. The soil is part of an EPA report. You can find that out. Don't get too excited about economics and don't study the soil, because soil in a contaminated environment could lead to leukemia. And that's your future family, grandchildren, children, grandchildren in mind. I am for this because I am a person that's for free enterprise, and I would like to announce that our cheesecakes have gone viral in Southern California.
Thank you for your comments. Amir Dean, then Frank Garcia and Paco Garcia.
Good afternoon. My name is Amir Dean. I'm the president of Unite Here Local 49. We represent 5,000 members who work in the hospitality industry. Many of them live in Sacramento. Many of them work right here, places like the Citizen, the Sheraton, the Holiday Inn, the Golden One Center, the Safe Credit Union. We're here to oppose this project. This project is giving over $90 million of future property taxes to developers, and it's going to cause immediate budget consequences for the next 10 years, nearly $1 million. Later today, you're looking at budget cuts, and if this deal passes, what more cuts are we going to face? And what do we get for it? Yeah, we get a stadium for the Republic, but there's also a luxury entertainment development that includes thousands of housing units, of which only 6% will be affordable housing units. I sent a letter to you all addressing this yesterday. 6% affordable housing when the housing element requires 20% set aside and the city is in a housing crisis is really unexcusable. The members of my union are cooks, dishwashers, housekeepers, servers, bartenders. We all love the Sacramento Republic. We all want to see the rail yards developed, but this city is in a crisis, and this development plan will make it worse. When I talk to my members, their number one issue is the housing and affordability crisis in Sacramento. Many of them are housing insecure, some are unhoused. The dream of home ownership is not even a consideration. When workers come to work downtown, they don't feel safe. And the city is choosing to allow this project to proceed with only 6% guaranteed affordable housing. Again, this is unacceptable. The only reason that my members can survive and have...
Thank you for your comments. Your 2 minutes is complete. Our next speaker is Frank Garcia, then Paco Garcia, then Wes Collins. And I have 15 more speakers.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm here. My name is Francisco Garcia, but they call me Frank. I'm in District 2. Roger is my council member. And I've been hearing everybody talk, and I wrote something, but I'm going to speak from my heart. I hear about all these jobs that this is going to create, and the jobs that are building it, yes, it's union. I love that. But what about the people that stay behind? Because that's what I am. They built Golden One, and I'm the one that stayed behind. And the reason we have success there is because we have bargaining units in place that protect us and take care of us and make sure we get our raises. And yes, this plan does need more housing for low-income people because Sacramento has that issue. But at the end of the day, it's all about money, and that's what I'm hearing here. And please rethink this. I'm not saying don't do it because it's a great idea, but there needs to be things in place to secure the people that stay behind. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Paco Garcia, then Wes Collins.
Hello, my name is Paco Garcia. I'm a steward at the Golden One Center. I've been there for 9 years. As someone who was born, raised, and works in SAC, I think the money should be going to more affordable housing. I know my coworkers get off late as 2 a.m., and it's not safe to get home. With the housing, I feel like that would solve a lot of issues, and the money should go to that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Wes Collins, then Sonia Crable. So Wes, then Sonia, then Matt McDonald. Let's see. Wes Collins, come on up and tell me who you are. Sonia?
Yes. I'm pretty sure that Wes had to go to work, as did a lot of our members. I'm Sonia. I'm with Unite Here Local 49 as well. As Amr mentioned, we represent hotel workers, workers in the service industry, and we're opposing this deal that we're calling the rail yard ripoff. That does not mean that we're opposing development at the rail yards or a soccer stadium there, but we are opposing this financial deal because, as we see it, this is great for wealthy developers, and it is a terrible deal for workers, particularly permanent workers, for tenants, and for taxpayers in Sacramento. This requires a shamefully small amount of affordable housing for Local 49 members. As people have just talked about, housing affordability is a crisis, and to have only 6% required affordable housing is nowhere near enough. The housing element also talks about a 20% affordable housing set aside, as in 20% of the overall revenue from the EIFD being set aside. The way that this deal is structured, it's only 20% of the leftovers after Republic and DRV have already received their reimbursement, which shortchanges affordable housing by $21 million over the life of this EIFD, and also means that no funding for affordable housing will flow until 2042, according to the projections in the infrastructure financing plan. This deal is also does have budget consequences. Again, according to the infrastructure financing plan that city staff put together, this would cost close to $1 million of a deficit through the initial period, and then only once the development is fully built out would it then start to flow. The projections that are in this that we're all relying on, I'm sure that the people that those are projections that are educated, but things happen, and I want to know what will happen if the development does move more slowly than projected, because 1,200 new hotel rooms in 9 years is highly ambitious based on our experience.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. I don't see Wes Collins, so Matt McDonald, Chris Valencia, then Robert Height.
Good afternoon. Matt McDonald, the California Apartment Association, representing over 3,000 housing providers locally. CAA strongly supports the EIFD. We strongly support the potential for 10,000 new housing units. We strongly support potential affordable housing. We support the city's efforts to claw ever closer to its regional housing needs allocation goals, which Sacramento is doing a better job of than any other major city in the state. Please vote today in favor of the rail yards and the EIFD that will justly house thousands of Sacramentans for decades to come. Thank you.
Comments? Next speaker is Chris Valencia. I have 10 more speakers. Chris, then Robert Height, then Chris Smith, then John Hershey.
I will try to keep this short. Hello, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Chris Valencia, and I'm here on behalf of the North State Building Industry Association, representing more than 500 members in the home building industry here in the region. BIA supports the rail yard project and the associated EIFD. The project is a vital economic investment in the city, bringing much-needed jobs, housing, and opportunity. The housing units that will be built are essential to the city's tackling its ongoing housing crisis, and for this reason, we ask that you approve the project. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Robert Height and Chris Smith.
Good afternoon, Mayor McCarty, members of council, and also to the city staff. I am Robert Height, President and CEO of the Sacramento Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, and I stand before you today here on behalf of our organization in strong support of the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District that you will vote on. The vote is more than a financing tool. It demonstrates a commitment to our region that we are all committed to unlocking the full potential of the rail yards. This EIFD enables strategic and catalytic growth for our city, which is needed as we work to infuse new life and energy into downtown. There are many regional partners that I think we all know and have come to recognize who have stepped up to revitalize the rail yards. This investment for infrastructure for the project will allow us to create a vibrant, walkable, economic catalyst that will expand the heart of downtown. And for our business community, this is about driving momentum and the inclusive long-term growth in the city of Sacramento. For years, the land has remained less than at its full potential. And today, with your vote, you have the chance to shape the future of downtown. We urge you to approve this item and thank you and your staff for all the support. Thank you.
Chris Smith, John Hershey, then Noah Painter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Chris Smith. I'm speaking on behalf of the Associated General Contractors of California. I also happen to be a District 4 resident, so, but Councilmember Pluckebaum, don't worry, I'm not here to complain about personal issues. AGC, we represent about 1,000 contractor members and associate members throughout the state. And our contractors, alongside our union partners, some of whom are here today, build our state's critical infrastructure, from roads to dams to bridges to hospitals, and yes, even large stadiums and entertainment districts. We're here to express our support for the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District so that we can move forward with development of the downtown rail yards projects. The investments in the Sacramento rail yards represent a generational investment with billions of dollars that will reshape our region's economy, support thousands of skilled jobs, and anchor Sacramento's rise as a destination city. Projects like the Sacramento Republic FC Stadium, the new Kaiser Medical Center campus, and commercial districts and new housing will drive opportunity, enhance the quality of life, and ensure our region remains connected and competitive. This council, with this vote, has the power to make generational change to propel this city and the region into the world-class city we know we are. This deal with this infrastructure financing plan for this city is the right move. We hope you move forward as is. On behalf of the Associated General Contractors of California, we appreciate the work of the council, of staff, and look forward to our continued partnership. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. John Hershey. John, then Noah.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the council. My name is John Hershey, and I'm here with the United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters here in Sacramento. And I just want to say, when I moved here to Sacramento, I remember looking at the rail yards and thinking they should do something with that. And well, here we are. And so as the city grows, I kind of want to talk about how, these opportunities, these projects allow for our apprentices to grow, but also our relationship with future apprentices in the Sac City Unified School District, or with the CCCA as they start getting cohorts that are graduating as seniors there. And our program is growing. I mean, I came through a cohort, one of the first post-recession, 2009 recession cohorts, and I think we've almost doubled to having 58 men and women graduate to become journeymen and women of our program. And just this last week, I was at Sac City Unified School District's Rosemont High School, where the ECD program was graduating some of their students, and 7 of them have decided to become pipe fitters in the future. And so with projects like these, which our members live and grow by, we have the ability to maintain and grow a relationship with the community in a way to provide sustainable career options that are alternatives to secondary, is it secondary? Yeah, well, college, or other options, and instead get into something that can provide, a stable income to raise a family, to own a home, and so on. And so with that, on behalf of UA Local 447, we ask for your support for the EIFD expansion. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Noah Painter, Rob Fong, John Reardon.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Noah Painter, representing IBEW and NECA, National Electrical Contractors Association. I'll be brief with my comments. We're in full support of both items this evening, or this afternoon. And we want to thank the Wilton Rancheria, Chairman Tarango, and Chris Franklin for their partnership and commitment to helping our region grow. Our city really owes them a debt of gratitude. We have a unique opportunity to grow utilizing an innovative economic development tool that does not commit a single dollar, contrary to some of the other comments of our city's general fund. Not only will it provide economic growth, but it will generate local union jobs and also serve as a model for future economic development in Sacramento. This is a no-brainer. I ask for your support. Thank you.
Rob Fong.
Why is everyone laughing? So, Mayor and Council, before I get started, a little housekeeping. So Mindy, we were talking back there when Mayor Steinberg got up to talk, and I told everyone, she'll cut him off. She will cut him off. And I was shocked that you got it in 2 minutes. So, but I appreciate you telling them you would, because I had money on you doing that. So
Thank you.
Thank you for that. There are no favorites in the city of Sacramento. Kevin and I were on the council together. Gosh, we were talking about rail yards a lot. And I know prior mayors and councils talked about the rail yards, but you guys are really right there. You're right there. And you know, I'm here on behalf of Local 447, and we're in strong, enthusiastic support of the staff's recommendations. But I wanted to let you all know that we're looking forward to building it. But I can also tell you that the Wilton Rancheria, I mean, you could not have a better partner, honestly. And for us, it's all about relationships. And we got to build the Sky River Resort and Casino, and we have nothing but positive things to say about our partnership with them. And so we're thrilled that they have seen fit, as Mayor Bobby Singh Allen said, to come here to Sacramento to bless us. And their commitment to this entire area is going to be profound. And so I just want to recognize that, you know, all the tries to get here, that's how we got here. That's the final missing piece, the tribe. And so thank you to all of you for supporting kind of this community vision and being here. And like I said, we're thrilled to be here to build that with them. So urge your strong support. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. John Reardon, then Tyler Character. John, then Tyler, then Doyle Radford.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is John Reardon. I've been a member of International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 340, for 25 years. Many of those years were spent driving back and forth from my company's shop off of Richards Boulevard to the downtown area, driving through the empty fields there off of 7th Street, wondering what was going to be done with those areas. Today, I ask you to support the Sacramento Rail Yard EIFD. During my time as a member, I've had opportunity to work on many projects here in the Sacramento area. I think the Golden One Center is a perfect example of what it can do to revitalize areas of downtown and provide jobs, not just for the construction of the initial construction of the project, but coming on later. It's also given me the opportunity to become a first-time homeowner in Tahoe Park. Persuaded me to move to the Sacramento area to buy here and be closer to my work. And you have to look at this as more than just structure with a price tag. It's an investment in our workforce to have good paying jobs so that can afford to invest in our communities through home ownership, supporting small businesses and local restaurants, not to mention the increased foot traffic benefits for the surrounding businesses. Thank you for your time today.
Give your comments. Tyler, then Doyle Radford, and then Jonathan McGruel will be our final speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyler Kircher. I am a member of the IBW Local 340. Today we ask you to support the Sacramento Rail Yard, EIFD. Building a new stadium is an enormous opportunity for the city and the residents of this region. The rail yards have been an empty plot of land that could bring in $8 billion in construction investments that will transform our region and create an economic driver that this city needs. There are jobs created to build the stadium, to work the stadium, and the local dollars that will constantly be reinvested from the sales connected to the stadium. I know that projects of this magnitude need funding, structure for infrastructure, which this EIFD will allow. From an industry perspective, a stadium project creates jobs, but even more importantly in Sacramento, it creates opportunities for our apprentices to get on-the-job training that sets our electrical apprentice program apart. If we want our future electricians to have the experience of working on state-of-the-art stadiums, developments, we need to have those opportunities available for them. Personally, being an IBW 340 member has allowed me to build a career, and I've been able to work on projects like Aggie Square and the Golden One Center in our city, all while supporting my family, providing health care, and growing a pension. Being able to say I was part of the stadium when I bring my kids to a game or event would be awesome. And then please support the EIFD rail yard so we can move the process forward. Thank you.
Excuse me, Doyle Radford, Jonathan McCruel, then Ben Gumpert.
Good afternoon, Mayor McCarty, respected council. My name is Doyle Radford, and I am the business manager of construction and general labor's Local 185. We've been proudly building this community since 1929. We build great things, and we're really excited to build this soccer stadium. We've been season ticket holders since we built the temporary stadium down at, we had this vision, right? And we were going to build this stadium over at Cal Expo. It was a temporary thing. We've been there 11 years. We've had 16 season tickets for those years. We're soccer nuts, a majority of our member, and you're looking at one of those soccer nuts. And so we're very excited to build that stadium. I'd like to commend Mr. Nagel on not giving up on his vision and his promise to build with our folks downtown. And I'd really love to commend my friends Jesus and Chris and the great men and women of the Wilton tribe for keeping that honor and building with union labor and my folks. So with that, I stand before you asking to support the the Enhanced Finance District as presented by the applicant, and I thank you for your consideration.
Jonathan and then Ben. I don't see movement. Jonathan doesn't seem to be here. Ben Gumpert.
89th minute. Think of the match. Mr. Mayor, McCarty, City Council members, City staff, Laney, Republic fans, Wilton Rancheria, Chairman Jesus, Chris, so many of you. Like, what a treat to be here. My name is Ben Gumpert. I'm the former CMO of the Sacramento Kings. I'm the former president of Sacramento Republic FC, thanks to this man, Kevin Nagel. I've stood at this podium quite a few times with many of you and have worked alongside many of you on some amazing things, none of which might be more important than this. But I'm not here for those roles. I am here as a born and bred Sacramentan, as a father of 2 daughters that I'm raising in the city, and as a community member. My 2 daughters have played on, I'm pretty sure, every blade of grass in this city. I'm here for their friends, their classmates, their teammates. I want them to feel more connected to this community, to be prideful of being from here, to represent that, to wear their Republic gear, not even to represent the Republic, as amazing as it is, but in support and in pride for our city. Sure, I'm biased, but a thriving stadium full of fans for games, matches, concerts, events, community gatherings is the most powerful force that we can bring together. I get to see this in my work all the time. In Nashville with the Titans, in Boston with their new NWSL team, in Everton across the pond. The methods may be different, but the story is all the same. Bring people together, create energetic spaces, invest in the community, and good things happen. This has been a long journey up to this point. It's my daughter's 13th birthday today. She was 4 when I started at the Republic, and I joined an existing fight for this. The time is now. I urge your yes vote. Let's do this. Thank you.
Well, that concludes the 90th minute, so I guess this is what they call extra time? Our time. We're done with public comment. I apologize. We had 55 speakers. Was your name called?
My name is Howard Knudsen. My name was not called.
Was it called?
I submitted a slip there.
Okay, we'll let you come on. 2 minutes, sir.
I have a different topic today. My name is Howard Knudsen. I'm a certified public accountant. I reside in District 1. I'm here today because I'm concerned about fiduciary responsibility on behalf of our city police chief. I read the Sacramento Bee article today.
Excuse me, if you want to talk in items not on the agenda, we have that later. This is specifically to the rail yards project. That's okay. Yeah.
You are,
can
and
come
we
back.
do have your speaker slip
Yeah,
for the next
it'll be more
item.
relevant, so, thank you. Okay. Yes, back to the matter at hand. Now is time for the mayor and council to deliberate, pose questions, and hopefully take a vote. So first of all, I'll start off as mayor here. I usually wait for our council members to speak first, but this is a big deal for our city, and I wanted to just get right up there and say I'm in full support of this project. I think it was mentioned a few times. I don't want to overuse the phrase, but this is a transformative project, really a once-in-a-generation project, and most importantly, it's a good deal for our taxpayers and for the city of Sacramento. This has been decades in the making. Our rail yards is over 100 years old. It's been dormant for roughly 40 years, and 20 years ago, when Councilmember Fong and I were new council members here, we talked about the rail yards plan, and at that time, it was 15 years old. And we thought that one day, we would be able to see movement out there. We do now with the Kaiser project under construction. The courthouse is about to be opened up. 2 housing projects, as LDV mentioned earlier, are up and running. So this really is our moment. And with that, I'm the mayor now, but this is success has many fathers and mothers, and failures and orphans. So many people worked on this in the city of Sacramento for decades. I want to thank our city staff who worked on the prior plans and worked very hard to get this ready for the 10th of June. But also want to thank our prior mayors, including our Mayor Emeritus, who's right here in the audience. And thank you for you working on this. I'll give you a round of applause, Mr. Steinberg. And this is, of course, bigger than soccer. This is soccer is the marquee tenant here, and we'll have some others we'll talk about in a little bit. But I do want to thank the Republic for bringing professional soccer to Sacramento a little over a decade ago. And the visionaries with this wild idea, Warren Smith and Joe Wagoner, certainly stepped up and brought the Sac Republic to I believe the first place was Sac City College over in your area, and they had the Tower Bridge Brigade that crossed the bridge over the... battalion, and that crossed the bridge and had these amazing following. There you go. Get that scarf later on. And just, it was the dream that kept on moving along, and then it went to the next generation. Kevin Nagel, thank you for taking it to the next level, literally going back and forth when you could have given up, and then handing the torch to the next generation, and that's, of course, Wilton Rancheria and Chairman Tarango. And I want to talk about that for a moment. I know, Chairman Tarango, you talked about what this means to you to be here in this. And, I want to share something private that you told me and share it to the public, and why this is so powerful that you are the individual leading this. But as you said, you're the steward of the land, but you're also putting your resources behind this. And I asked you, why come here? Why come to Sacramento? You have down there in Elk Grove, a major entertainment complex with, your tribal council is doing a lot down there. And you said, Kevin, we've been here for generations. And you said, we want to go back to the rail yards. That's where we used to be, at the confluence of 2 rivers. You mentioned how years ago, a disgraceful chapter in our history, we took your people and put them on trains from those rail yards and sent them away to reservations. And through resilience and determination, centuries later, here you are. And you wanted to go back to those same lands. And that gave me goosebumps that night, and gave me goosebumps right now, because that is so powerful in 2025. So thank you. This... As we heard from our downtown boosters in Midtown, this is going to bring life to our downtown. This area, the rail yards, as we've said for a long time, as Denton knows, is the largest infill development site west of the Mississippi. And I'm tired of saying that, because it's no longer an unutilized infill development site. It's going to be an extension of our downtown. We desperately need to bring more life to our downtown. This is going to bring more entertainment, certainly to soccer fans, the people who want to go have a good time in a new place of our city, go to concerts at the new paint shop venue, focus on living there, having people more live in the core of Sacramento. Sacramento's a destination. Redfin says we're one of the top destinations for people moving outside of their areas in the United States. This furthers that continuation. And for the big question here that's been mentioned earlier today, is this a good deal for our taxpayers? I say unequivocally, yes. It's 100% privately financed, 0 risk to our general fund. I'll repeat that again, 0 risk to our general fund. If the stadium has overruns, sorry, Chairman Tarango, it's on you. If it doesn't pencil out, sorry, Todd, it's on your team. I know it will pencil out, but 0 impact to our general fund. And I've asked many tough questions on this dais, right over there, about business transactions, potentially risky deals with the city of Sacramento. This is not one. I've asked all the questions, and I've got satisfactory answers, if not more, from all of them. Again, this is a great deal for our city of Sacramento, a good deal for taxpayers, and I am in full support. And with that, I would like to make a motion to approve items 1 and 2 as drafted. Second. Second from Vice Mayor Talamantes. Thank you. Next speaker, Councilmember Vang.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to take this opportunity to thank city staff, Marco, Leslie, Michael Jasso, interim city manager, and also the prior mayor, Mayor Steinberg, for his leadership. Chair Tarango here today as well, Todd, Mr. Nagel, just really thank you for all of your hard work to get us to this moment. And I also want to take this moment to thank all of the speakers that came today from both sides that came to share their insights of why they are in opposition or in support of this project. And I just want to say thank you for providing your voice to this process, and that's of utmost importance for me. This past week, I had the opportunity to meet with some of our labor partners, Sac Republic, Welton Ritria. I sat down for breakfast with Chair Tarango as well ahead of the vote. And I do believe that this is a really exciting opportunity that we have in front of us. And with that, I will also say that any yes vote that comes from me also means that the development has to operate and grow in a way that really uplifts all of our residents and neighborhoods. That includes affordable housing, which we heard some concerns about, good paying jobs, which I heard some of our labor partners up here as well, and that in the future, it also help close our city budget. And so I do have a few questions that I have for city staff before I decide on my vote in particular. So in the hot seat first is actually city staff. Marco or Leslie, if any of you can answer this, you know, it's really important. I think my colleagues would agree with me that it's important that the people who work here, who will work at the rail yards, at the stadium, can actually afford to live here. One of the major concerns that I've heard from the community is that there is a lack of affordable housing for this project in particular. So I just had a few questions. I am cognizant when y'all briefed me that we recently opened the Wong Center. That's about 100% affordable housing. Also AJ, which set aside affordable housing as well. And when I read the term sheet that's literally in front of me with highlights, I did see that there is a 20% set aside, but only when reimbursement, when the buckets are filled for the master developer and the city. And so a question that I have for city staff is, earlier we heard from some of the public speaker that this term sheet or this project in particular really lacks on the affordable housing side. And I know that's something that the mayor and the council cares deeply about. And so I wanted to just ask you all is how are we ensuring affordability for housing in the rail yards that can go beyond 6%? If anyone can answer that.
So, good afternoon, council members and mayor. Michael Jasso, Assistant City Manager, as well as the Director of the Office of Innovation and Economic Development. So a couple of things specifically with respect to, like maybe first we'll start with the EIFD. So the EIFD that was originally created, just to be clear, did not include any affordable housing requirement under it. And we were very deliberate about that because the economics of the project for the stadium area EIFD warranted so much investment just to get it off the ground that we didn't think it was reasonable, that it would be reasonable to burden it with respect to kind of having an a housing affordability requirement as well. It's interesting, we adopted that in 2019, the same year that we were working and began working on the housing element. And in the housing element, which was adopted in 2021, it is true that we did put a provision that all new, very important here, new EIFDs kind of should include a kind of 20% set aside for affordable housing. First and foremost, this is not a new EIFD. It's an expansion of the existing EIFD. So we don't believe kind of that provision kind of is a requirement of the expanded EIFD. That having been said, we did include in the expanded EIFD areas kind of the inclusion that 20% of the incremental taxes that are generated would be available for affordable housing, but we also took into account the economic provisions of the projects themselves such that we need to make this work in terms of, at the end of the day, if you don't get the vertical development, both of these catalytic projects, the stadium, kind of the entertainment center, you don't get any of the supplemental taxes that support the additional uses for affordable housing. So that was all taken into account when we did the the expansion of the EIFD and the original creation of the EIFD. It's important to note that the development to date, I believe, has some 495 approximately kind of units units of housing that have been developed, over 44 or some 44% of those are already affordable. So in that sense, the development is already ahead of the curve in terms of the delivery of affordable units. And yes, there is a requirement over time, and Marco can speak to that, to how that specifically was put in place in 2016 with the mixed income housing strategy that was adopted and approved by council. So we may very well achieve a higher number, but it right now here today, the developments that are in place have been able to achieve kind of even higher affordable housing than might be realized at this point in time. So we, I think, appreciate the huge importance of affordable housing. It was this city that adopted the pro-housing, all the ordinances and various other pieces that ultimately resulted in the city being awarded the first pro-housing strategy. We went to $0 impact fees. We continue to do that, but one of the best ways to also ensure housing affordability is to create economic development and economic opportunity that allow people to, in fact, to be able to afford housing. And we believe this project is incredibly important in that light. I think it's probably realistic to say no one project or series of projects can solve all our challenges or kind of woes that we have in the city. We believe this collection of projects that are made possible specifically because of the adoption of the IFD go pretty far kind of in that tangent.
Michael, would you say that because of the upfront investment to help build out the infrastructure, provide more opportunities for the affordable housing piece?
Absolutely. So the infrastructure that's being put in place, it is specific to make possible kind of the catalytic projects under discussion here, but it will also make possible and afford, the ability to deliver housing of all types, and affordable housing being one of those. Also, it's important to note, we do need much more affordable housing, and as I've already stated, we are working very hard on that as a city, and I would put our record in terms of Sacramento up with any city in California in terms of the efforts and the progress we've made. But we also need housing of all types. And one of the things that is powerful about this project is as housing comes online, including market rate housing in this project, it does put downward pressure on prices of housing across the city, particularly those that are in areas adjacent to the area, the rail yards.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll just add some additional context about affordability requirements for the project. So there are a few different layers of affordability requirements. The oldest ones are HCD requirements, so state housing and community development requirements tied to some infrastructure grants. That requires that the project build over 1,100 total housing units, with 24% of those being affordable. So that's kind of the first tranche there. And then, as mentioned, we've got a mixed income housing strategy on the site that does require a diverse range of housing options. The amount of affordable housing that's required via that is variable, but right now in the first tranche, up to 3,000 units, the absolute limit that of affordable that could be required, so the bottom number would be 10%. So there's a few different layers, and it's a bit complex in terms of how it works in the rail yards.
Okay. Thanks, Marco and Michael. I appreciate that clarity. I think that's important, that just the emphasis on the affordable housing piece, and that we're working really hard as mayor council to make sure that we build that out. So I appreciate that. I did have a question regarding the finance structure in particular. In the presentation, it was noted that from 2025 to 2033, there would be a $580,000 deficit per year, and that would be about 1.4. But after 2040, we would see an annual surplus of 1.4 million. That's 8 years, so that's like 4.64 million. And so could you explain, because the mayor did say that this doesn't touch our general deficit, could you explain how this does not contribute to our general fund?
Sure. I'll give the quick answer, which is it does not contribute to our ongoing deficit or outward deficit. I'd ask Jamie Gomes to come up and potentially give greater detail. Part of that reason for that is the fact that we already have projects that have been built in the rail yard, principally tax-exempt projects, that at the end of the day are not contributing the property tax that offset the services that we were already providing, even here today. And that would be the case whether an EIFD was put in place or not.
Okay.
Maybe ask Jamie to elaborate.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
No, I think that's good. I
think we're good.
I think,
Thank you.
that clarity is good. Yeah, thank you. I just think that's important. Thanks, Mike. I just think that clarity is important because in the presentation, clearly we saw that there's that deficit, and we want to make sure that we explain that to the public, that this is not a hit to the general fund. The next question I have is really around city's contribution, around signage, because I didn't get an opportunity to review the term sheet. So in the term sheet in particular, our city is actually waiving security. So that's about $300,000 for 10 years for police and security. That means we're providing over $3 million of police services, and anything above that, Indomino would pay. And so when folks says that we're not providing anything, this is like a free handout, it's actually not. So I also just want to put on record that that is part of the term sheet. Yes, that's money we're not collecting, but that's money that we could be receiving. And so I am curious to know, in addition to waiving the security for the suite of services, I also noticed that in the term sheet, there's a possibility of extending it for 35 years. I know that that item in particular is going to come to council this fall, and so I do have a question about the revenue piece, right? Because technically the city could keep the signage, and I know that we're not going to have that conversation till later, but in the term sheet, we are waiving our signage rights over to Indomitable. And so I also know that location makes a difference in terms of how much cost of revenue that would be for ads. And so do we have a conservative projection of what that revenue ad can bring and can provide to Indomitable? I was just curious about that, since it's something that we're giving up.
So I will tackle the municipal services first. You'll note that in the waterfall that's spelled out in the master funding agreement, day one, the city collects 20% of the new portion, so the western portion of the EIFD. Those funds will, the city would look to first as they come back to us for a source of offsetting any, potential services that we're waiving. So that's really, as applicable by law, that would be the first source. And then in terms of the signage revenue, I would speak to our partners if they had, projections on, what the signs may bring in. But I will note that, both the term sheet and the comprehensive project agreement speak to up to a certain amount of signs. We are not guaranteeing any signs. And so it's really, a matter of our partners showing the feasibility and the importance of them to these projects, and then for the council to approve.
Okay, thanks, Marco, and that's a great segue because I was going to ask Chair Tarango and Todd to come up because I have questions for both of you. And I guess we can talk about the signage piece because I had several questions, but we can start off there. One of the offers in our term sheet as a city is giving revenue rights for the signage for perhaps 35 years to Indomitable. And this is usually ad fees that may come to the city, but we're going to give it to the Indomitable as our negotiation. So want to have a better understanding why this part was critical for you as Wilton Rancheria and as Sac Republic and as Indomitable. Why was this important? So Todd, I don't know if you want, I'm just curious.
Good question. So the history of this, essentially, the city came to us over a year ago. I think it was about a year and a half ago. Always the city had planned to pay for the infrastructure, to pay for the city streets and everything that will be city property. With the budget deficit and the budget hole, essentially we were asked to step up, and it was a big ask, $40+ million for that infrastructure. That is not a small amount of money, and we needed to come up with some creative ways in order to fund that. And the signage is one of those ways. So essentially what we're going to do with the money for the digital signs is we're going to treat it almost like a mortgage where you get upfront money. We're going to pay for the infrastructure, a portion of the infrastructure, doesn't cover all of it, but a portion of that infrastructure will be covered by the signage money. If we don't have valuable signs or don't have the value there, then that's going to impact what we're able to do on the infrastructure.
Okay, great, Todd. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that the dollars from the revenue from the signage is really to help you mortgage the infrastructure that y'all are putting up front. Is that pretty much right? Okay.
Got it.
So on the stadium side, for both of you, I know that on the stadium side, it's privately financed, right? And so that also means that it is up to your discretion in terms of your hiring. And for me, making sure that these jobs are prevailing wages are really important. And I did see that many of our labor partners came in here today to speak in support of the project in particular. And so I was just going to ask the question very transparently, like, have you begun those conversations on the operations side with our labor partners? I did see Kevin here. I saw many of our labor partners here, carpenters, but just wanted to just reconfirm here publicly that, you know, these conversations are happening, because that is of utmost importance to me, to make sure that our labor partners are part of those jobs.
Yeah, I'll go first. I know Chairman has something to say on this, but yeah, this is, again, we'll announce it tomorrow, but this is why we partnered with Turner. They are the best in the business at this. It was something, you know, as we interviewed different groups, they stood out in how hiring local, hiring underrepresented business enterprises, UBs, was such an important thing to them. And it is exactly the type of partner that we wanted. So they did this with Golden One. They know how to do it best, and you know, we're certainly fortunate to have a partner like that, and that's why we chose them.
Chair Taranga.
How you doing? Sorry, I was getting some advice from my cousin. Again, he's the mastermind. No, you know, I would say that something that's important to Wilton Rancheria and anything that we do, we're not transactional people, right? We don't do, if I give you this, you give me that. We're a relationship people, right? I think I said that even earlier. And so as you saw some of the trades coming out today is because we have a partnership with them already intact. The trust has already been built between them and us. And you see what we have a little south of here. I would, if I'm biased, one of the best casinos that we have in Northern California. And so with that, I think that those conversations will continue. And anything that we do, it's within that trust that we've already built with them, that I think they know that they're going to have a fair opportunity, as anybody should have, to negotiate some things with us. But again, that's all I'm going to say. Keep it short. But again, we're not transactional people. We build relationships, and we hope for the best outcome at the end of the day.
Thank you, Chair. Those are all my questions. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you sharing just on record that this is really about relationship building for you, and that y'all are going to do everything you can to continue to build those relationships. And so just for me, just some comments. You know, I have a deep love for soccer, especially my nieces and nephews, who are part of various soccer leagues. And, you know, when Sac Republic made it to the U.S. Open Cup Finals in 2022, I actually flew out to Orlando. I've never been to Orlando before, but I flew out there just to be able to witness that. And so that was really great. So for me, any development this size, like I shared earlier, can bring real opportunities for our city, right? The sales tax, when residents are shopping, that's going to help our general budget. It's going to help grow our revenue base, and so that's really important. But one thing I do want to make very clear is that there is this narrative in the public that developers are covering 100% of the cost. And I just want to state for the record that, you know, this term sheet is a partnership, right? And that is very important to acknowledge. Our city is offering several items on the table. One, that's allowing a model to exist where developers can recoup some of their initial upfront costs, right? Through the EIFD. This reimbursement will come on top of the revenues that will go to the EIFD. And so I think it's important to acknowledge that that can only happen because the city is allowing that model to happen in the city. And so that gives the developers an opportunity to recoup some of that money. And so I want to just make sure to state that on record. Secondly, in the term sheet, you know, we're also providing direct city services for the next 10 years when it's built out. And yes, we're not collecting these fees, but these are contributions that the city is making. And obviously anything above $300,000 a year, Indomino will pay for it. But that is still taxpayer dollars that we could be receiving and that we are providing on the table. And then lastly, we're giving signage rights as well to Indomitable to collect revenues. And I think that's important to acknowledge as well. I know that we're going to have a conversation this fall about that. And so I just want to say that this is truly a public-private partnership, and that it is not on just the developers, right? That it's going to take all of us to build something like this. And so as you all know very well, that the rail yards haven't been built in many years. And as a daughter of South Sacramento, born and raised, I see blight all the time in my neighborhoods, and I know what that does to a city. And so I want to see the rail yards be built. But I want it to be built in a way that can uplift all of our neighborhoods and families. Again, I think I also want to highlight that this is also a really exciting opportunity for our indigenous community to reclaim the land. And I think that's something so powerful, an incredible story for us to share about what Sacramento is doing here. And then lastly, I just, I think folks are going to know how I'm going to vote on this, but I also want to urge my colleagues, city staff, and folks who are listening that this is really exciting. The energy, the commitment, the investment towards downtown, it's great. But so often, especially someone who represents our most vulnerable neighborhoods like Meadowview and Valley High, right? We don't see these type of investment in Del Paso Heights or in Oak Park or in Meadowview or in Valley High. And I just hope the call to action that when we vote for this, yes, it's going to help our region, but we really don't want to leave these neighborhoods behind, and that these neighborhoods deserve the same attention, the same opportunities and resources and revitalization efforts as well. Because a lot of investment is always made in downtown. Folks said that, downtown is the heartbeat of this city. And there was a presenter that said, world-class, and I literally wrote down what he said. He said, world-class city have iconic buildings and stadium. And I would say that true world-class cities don't leave vulnerable communities behind. Buildings and stadiums are only good if our residents in Del Paso and Oak Park and Meadowview and Valley High can also enjoy them, right? And so my ask before this vote, as we implement this project, and I would love for Todd and Chairman Tarango to come up here. I'm going to ask one last question, is that you make a commitment to work with the council, to work with our labor partners, to work with our CBOs and our underserved communities, that as we're building out the rail yards, that we're not going to leave these communities behind, and we're going to ensure that these jobs and these opportunities do go to them. And so that is my ask, that if I'm going to do the yes vote, I need to hear from both of you that is a commitment from the Indomitable, that we're not going to leave these communities behind. We're going to do everything we can in partnership to make sure that happens.
Well, I'll go first. My community are those people you're talking about. We know firsthand the struggles of what people face every day. My people, my community, we know that. And so again, everything that we do, my city council members that are here, my citizens of my great nation, just like you, I have to make a decision too, on the benefit of not for one demographic, not for one type of people, it's for all my people. And I also have to make decisions not what benefit me today, because I have to think about the 7 generations coming to me. So in your answer of what you're asking me, I would hope that the very state of who my people are is that commitment, that this is a first in what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And so there's nobody that's come before us, a nation that's come before us and gotten this done, right, or to be here. But our commitment for my people and the citizens of Wilton Rancheria is we will do everything we can to provide that. Because again, when the decision that we're making here today, right, it's revenues for all of my citizens, that we made a decision that this is a benefit to us. And so even in that, we're already considering those things, and it matters. So I will say, absolutely, from my tribe and my people, that is our commitment here today.
Thank you, Chair Tarango.
It's not fair to go second to you. It's just one of the beautiful things about our club, our sport, our platform is the ability to unify. And I think that is something that the sport of soccer can do. It is such a simple game. But the ability to bring people together of all walks of life, of all backgrounds, of all political beliefs, races, nationalities, the ability to do that is so unique in our platform. We do it at Folsom Prison. We do it throughout our community. And this is another opportunity to do that. So we don't leave people behind. We bring people together.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you, Mayor. Just want to thank city staff and the Indomitable for answering my questions, and I look forward to voting yes on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Talamantes.
Thank you, Mayor. I see so many familiar faces here in the room. I got here at City Hall in 2018, and this definitely has been an ongoing project. I'm in this project now year 7 for myself. And to everyone here, whether you're a stakeholder, a union member, a Republic fan, a neighbor, thank you for being here and sharing your 2 cents on what this project means to you and your hopes and wishes for this project. I love soccer. I've been playing soccer all my life. I'm currently on a team,
and I'm very mediocre. You would think after 20 plus years of playing I'd be good, but I'm still not good. And before this meeting, I dropped off 4 soccer balls to my nephew, who's at my brother's house right now, running a soccer camp for my niece and my nephews, charging $5 a session. Soccer is a big part of my Latino culture, and I grew up watching that. Not baseball, not football, not any other sport. It was always soccer. And we wake up at 4 a.m. to watch the World Cup, to watch Mexico play, to watch America play. And I wish soccer was more popular in the United States of America, and it has to be our mission to get that there. I even wrote a 25-page paper in college on the history of the soccer ball. How I managed to do that, I don't know, but now I am a politician, and here I am. Tonight, I did second this motion, and I'll be voting on this proposal tonight. Well, I guess it's not tonight, it's still this afternoon. Because I do believe it's an opportunity for Sacramento to grow our revenue, to invest in this public-private partnership, and to create the indomitable spirit and sing ole, ole, ole together in that stadium. I also was elected to serve the people of Sacramento and the interest of our city. And I have prepared a few questions for city staff to answer to show the research and the due diligence that has gone into the formation of this enhanced infrastructure finance plan, EIFD. Gosh, I just messed that up. Okay. Anytime taxpayer money is used, our constituency deserves transparency and accountability metrics, especially as we face a continuing budget deficit. And tonight we're adopting the budget, and we're going to be balanced, but next year we're heading straight into a $70 million budget deficit. And the city of Sacramento, the residents of Sacramento, I mean, they continue to, our trust in them, it just continues to erode. And so for me, asking these questions and making sure that we have dot our I's and cross our T's is so important. I do sit on the Rail Yards EIFD Commission, and so I have had a chance to look at this project through the course of the last 2.5 years and ask some questions in terms of economic impact and the appraisal for the land that we're purchasing and the term sheet. So I'm going to ask these questions again just because a lot of people don't tune in to the 9:30 a.m. meetings or the 11 a.m. meetings that we have regarding this project. So I did ask during those meetings about the Truxell Bridge to be added to this project. The Truxell Bridge is many years in the making, and right now this project doesn't have a way for residents north of the river to get connected, to be able to enjoy the amenities and enjoy the investment that we are putting into this project. There's a lot of traffic plans for everywhere else in the city of Sacramento, and north of the river continues to be ignored. And so thank you so much for to the stakeholders to now incorporating it. I've been kind of screaming and shouting about this. But as we move forward, I would like for you to work with our transportation agencies, with JIBE, and with South Potomac Transportation Management to figure out how we can get more people into downtown. For the cash flow of the purchase of lots 40 and 44 for city staff, one, I asked for an appraisal to be done about a year ago, and so I know you have that, if you can speak on that. And then for the cash flow of lots 40 and 44, which is going to be $14 million from the sale of the Sheraton, what will trigger the release of those funds?
So first I'll speak to the appraisal, and then I would have Leslie speak to the release of those funds. So for the 2 parcels that the city plans to purchase to support Sac Valley Station, one parcel came back appraised at $7.5 million, and the other at $7.9 million. We've still agreed to purchase the property for $14 million total from the developers.
Okay. And Leslie, if you can answer what will trigger the cash flow of that?
Yes, at this point in time, we do envision closing on the properties in the rail yards that are included in the term sheet in early July. So we plan on expending those funds to accommodate that transition and that transaction in early July.
And then probably for Denton Kelly or Josh, I have a question for you. For the historic central shops, the Foundry, 6 million square feet of it will be for office and retail space. And right now in downtown, we're struggling with empty office spaces, and retail is also hurting. So what's the plan for that aspect of it?
Well, I think the first plan is to actually build these iconic destinations we talk about. They're going to generate the foot traffic that actually will have the demand to support retail, restaurants, bars, which create the neighborhood, which create the vitality. In a community where people want to live, then you can kind of build the housing and you have a value proposition. Fortunately, we don't actually have any existing office inventory, given the current market dynamics, which are pretty challenging. So the historical central shops themselves can be any mix of retail, restaurant, entertainment venues we have planned for the paint shop. Could be office when the market improves, but right now, fortunately, we don't have that challenge.
Okay, thank you. And then a question for Marco. So today we're adopting both the EIFD and the expansion of it and the term sheet together, layered and married together, because they weren't before this meeting, or that's what the action that we're going to take that's going to take place today. Can you tell me the process for the waterfall and how the dollars would come in and then funnel out into east and west and everything else? And by the way, I asked this question during like one of my briefings, and it's not included in the PowerPoint or in the staff report for today. And I think it's an incredibly helpful diagram of how the money flows are going to work.
We do have a graphic, if you wouldn't mind pulling this up. This reminds me of the late, great Al Davis pulling the overhead projector out. So let's see. All right.
And then once you're done explaining that, if you can, once every bucket is satisfied, how does the money get distributed?
Absolutely. So rail yards EIFD East proceeds, think of that as the existing area. So the area that the existing stadium area EIFD is overlaid, everything east of 7th Street. And then the rail yards EIFD West proceeds are all of the new area. So all the new area that we would be expanding the EIFD to capture additional tax increment and to fund additional facilities. Currently, as the waterfall is described in the master funding agreement, Indomitable would receive 100% of the east proceeds. So all of the area that they will own, and they'll be building a soccer stadium and then ancillary development over that. At the same time, so this is all occurring concurrently, DRV would receive 40% of the west proceeds, Indomitable would receive 40% of the west proceeds, and the city would receive 20% of those proceeds. And then if you want to think about these as buckets, as you said, as each party gets their bucket filled, so we've set some caps. So DRV has $50 million of eligible facilities. Indomitable's estimated around $45 million of eligible facilities, and then the city's being reimbursed for our Sac Valley Station land purchase. As each of those buckets fill up, then the remaining parties will take a larger share of the increment until all the buckets are filled. And then at that time, 80% of the total EIFD revenues would be available for facilities that are described in the infrastructure financing plan, and then 20% would be set aside for affordable housing.
Okay. And so just to be clear, so say in the bucket for the rail yards west proceeds, so if it's $10, DRV is getting 4, Sac Republic is getting 4, and the city is getting 2 at the same time.
At the same time, correct.
Okay, just want to make sure that's on the record. Okay, and then Councilman Ring did ask about the EIFD and the 20% housing element set aside. I didn't hear, and I know that there's a lot of affordable housing that's already been built. Do we know what AMI that's at?
Excuse me. The HA units, which is the 69 affordable units, are at 50% AMI. The Wong Center, which is 100% affordable, I believe it's at 30%, but I'll confirm that number in just a moment and get it back to you.
Okay. And then I know with this project, we're generating about $133 million in citywide affordable housing dollars. That's in perpetuity, right?
That's over the life of the EIFD.
Okay. And do we have an AMI in mind yet for that, or is that like a conversation to be had in the future?
That's a conversation to be had in the future. So we don't kind of specifically dictate what that is, but it would be at least at 80% and probably lower than that, depending on what other funding sources come into the match, which most affordable housing does require other kinds of funding to come into the mix.
Okay. And then in terms of the project, how are we going to track success and revenues? And does the city have certain milestones in place?
Can you repeat that question one more time?
Yeah. How are we going to track success and the revenues that come from this? So it's important. We're saying, hey, we're going to put in $1 and the goal is to get $3 out. Like how are we going to track that success and the revenues for it?
So the EIFD does have an annual report, and with that, I would call to Sini Makasini or Eric Frederick to speak to what that annual report process looks like. And we'll be bringing the annual report to the EIFD Public Finance Authority here very soon.
Hi, Eric Frederick with the Finance Department. Yeah, every year the EIFD, or we're required to bring to the PFA an annual report that shows the revenues that came in the previous year, what projects were funded from those revenues, and also propose a budget for the upcoming year. And so that is something that does come to the PFA once a year.
Okay, and then the question about the milestones, does the city have like, by year 3, we will be at X place, by year 4, X place?
So I will say the master funding agreement does set out some milestones for the specific projects we're hoping to catalyze, right? So both DRV and Indomitable are incentivized, and in fact disincentivized to not perform on the project. So if they don't build the central shops projects out, or if the stadium is never built, then our partners do not participate in the tax increment. They'll have a little bit of time to remedy that, but at a certain point, that tool is no longer available to them. So those are really the successes that we're hoping to track. I will say that the beauty of the EIFD tool is that our partners are incentivized to develop aggressively, right? So they're fronting the money. They carry all the risk because if the project doesn't build out as anticipated, they don't get reimbursed at the same rate. And so they really are incentivized to build out extremely quickly, and that's tied to those milestones.
Okay, and then moving forward, what type of opportunities does the public have to get involved with this project?
There will be several public outreach opportunities, specifically around the open space. So DRV showed in their overview that they hope to utilize the EIFD to generate a lot of revenue for parkland and open space. And so the master planning process, and I will say specifically on Vista Park, will be a large community outreach effort.
Okay, yeah, and I say this because it's also a historic site for labor with the 1894 Pullman strikes. So it'd be nice to do like a park, a memorial, a museum, something to honor also the history of labor in the rail yards. My grandpa's brother came to Sacramento to work in the rail yards, and so my family history also begins here. Just like a lot of the people here in this room. And just like Councilmember Banks said, it's about our indigenous community reclaiming their land and saying we're here in Sacramento and we're here to stay, and undoing the wrongs and working together. And that's also, like Councilmember Banks said, my ask is to uplift all our communities. As a council member that represents the community north of the river, we always get forgotten. And a lot of times residents in my area feel like the investment is only going here to downtown, and it's saying, hey, we're gonna lift you up with us, because we need to support each other. And that includes all our labor union partners here in the room, and all our stakeholders here in the room, and here at the City of Sacramento and our staff. So thank you so much.
Member Talamantes, I did want to circle back on that affordability on the Wong Center. It's 135 one-bedroom and 15 two-bedrooms between 40 and 60% AMI. So,
Councilmember Pluckybaum?
Thank you. First, I'd like to acknowledge all of those who came before us and their contributions to this work, and everyone who's labored to get us here today. None of us can do great things alone, and the greatest achievements require us to stretch, sacrifice, compromise, and collaborate. I am also a soccer dad and a fan. I coached for 6 years, and from my perspective, this is just a tap-in. This is exactly the kind of catalyst our city needs. And to borrow a phrase from our mayor, let this signal that Sacramento is entering a new era and a time for growth. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you did not inherit the habits of your prior council members. Yes, thank you. Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Mayor. And I always know better than to, leave to the back to grab water or use the restroom when Phil is speaking before me, because I know it's going to be short and sweet. But I think that's a great thing. And so I will endeavor to do the same. But I really, I had prepared statements, but so many of my questions were asked by my colleagues and answered by our staff and our partners. So I don't feel the need to belabor any of those. But I did want to say, with respect to all due respect to all the other speakers, nothing really moved me more than hearing from Chairman Jesus Tarango. Hearing the words that came out of your mouth, the way that you described what this means to you, what this means to your people, and to bring that land back to those people who first inherited it and were stewards of it and will hopefully continue to be for many, many generations to the future, that moved me deeply. And so I just want to thank you for being here. And I also want to thank you for your partnership, not just with us, but with the Sac Republic, with LGTK, with everyone. Thank you. And so, for me, this is, I wasn't born in Sacramento, but I've been here for almost my entire life. And I have, like many others in this room, driven by, walked through, had some connection to the rail yards, and thought to myself, are they ever going to do anything with that? Like, how can we have this amazing piece of land here with so much history, and yet we've seen it languish? We all have. And so I think we have a responsibility as a city to not just do the things that my colleagues talked about, which is about fiscal responsibility, ensuring that we're doing this the right way for the people of Sacramento and beyond, but also that we're doing something that can last for generations to come, that our children, the children's children can be a part of and can experience. And the thing that I love the most about it is it's very forward thinking. It's not just one thing. It's not just a stadium. It's not just housing. It's not just shops. It's really taking a look at this space and thinking holistically about what it can be and what it should be for Sacramento. I'm a train nerd. I don't know if you know that about me. So for me, especially the transit focus piece is huge, right? Because the Sac Valley Station is also a huge part of Sacramento's history, and it's a space that has really needed some love for some time. And the way that you do that is by bringing all of this together, bringing in the right partners. The last thing I want to say, it was a real honor to serve last year as the vice mayor under Mayor Jill Steinberg, and to see firsthand the work that you did behind the scenes to make this a reality with everyone. And so I just really want to thank you for being here today, for your words and for your work. And so with that, I will be happily supporting the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. First, Mayor, I want to assure all who are here that the medical device that I'm displaying today is not a result of anyone's advocacy related to this particular issue. I want to join in expressing the thanks that my colleagues have articulated to all those who've been involved in this effort. I know firsthand that putting these things together is a monumental task. And so all who have been engaged in it deserve thanks and deserve credit. And my colleagues have asked some questions that were also on my mind, so they've eliminated much of what I had in mind inquiring about, but I actually did have a couple questions, and I think they're probably mostly for Jamie. So, and they have to do with the distribution of proceeds related to the EIFD. And you talked a little bit about this in your presentation. Some sources of revenue that would not be included in the corpus, if I can use that term, for the distribution to the parties to repay costs for infrastructure. I'm just curious the extent to which there's mutability here in terms of these revenues. For example, if the city decided it wanted to take a percentage of the revenue generated from the tax increment and put it in the general fund, it can do that. That's actually a consideration in the city's investment policies. But with respect to such things as the vehicle license fee, the in lieu fee, the overlap with the former redevelopment areas, and the real property tax trust fund, is there mutability of those sources at all to the extent to which they could be either assigned to repay or be used to bond against to repay debt service, or that they could, on the other hand, be allocated to the city's general fund?
It's a great question. And with respect to property tax in lieu of vehicle license fee, it is not going to be going into the EIFD, so it will not fall under the purview of the PFA. The Public Financing Authority will not have access to those revenues because it will not go into the EIFD. The same holds true for the pass-through revenues the city is already receiving because the rail yards area wasn't a former redevelopment project area. Those stay with the city. And then with respect to the last one was the motor vehicle in lieu, the real property tax trust fund.
That's which one you identified.
Right. So that is being committed to the EIFD. So that is a part of it. So the property tax increment and the RPTTF, as it's referred to, will be going into the EIFD, and that will be under the PFA's purview and subject to the waterfall that's in the master funding agreement.
Can you tell us, of all the revenue that's bound up in the EIFD, the percentage that would go to the city's general fund and the percentage that would go to the expenditures for EIFD investments?
I will have to look that up and provide that number to you.
Okay. I think that would well be of interest to me. I don't know about others. Thanks. I appreciate that. I wonder whether there might be, to the extent that there's some flexibility, we could help address affordable housing sooner rather than later. But there are trade-offs. There clearly are trade-offs. And given the condition of the city's general fund, those trade-offs are tough. So I recognize that, but it also seems to me it's something that we might examine as a possibility to the extent that that is an opportunity. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Jamie. I do share the sentiments expressed by my colleague, Councilmember Vang, with respect to affordable housing and the need to provide that throughout our community. I also share the sentiments with respect to the need to make these kinds of investments, which are transformational, work for our entire community. And there are lots of different ways to do that. So I look forward to having conversations to explore how that can occur. I don't come to this conversation as one who has been involved in it for a long period of time, and yet I don't think I'm exactly new to it in its fundamental respects either. It is legislation that we are using to create an EIFD here that I was the original author of, and ultimately the co-author, the principal co-author of the legislation that was signed by the governor to allow local jurisdictions to create EIFDs. At the time I was working on this legislation as a member of the Assembly, this is precisely the kind of application that I and many others had in mind as a follow to redevelopment, which had ended in a difficult circumstance for the President Pro Tem of the Senate and for me as a member of the Assembly, among others. It's not our happiest memory, I think it's probably fair to say. But we were looking for ways by which and through which communities could finance the kind of investments in infrastructure that would create economic growth and economic development. The city manager, the interim city manager, got to get the title right, at the outset alluded to a comment I made some time ago that in my estimation, we will not solve our financial challenges in what some would say more traditional ways. We have to grow our way out. We have to grow our local economy. We have to create more jobs. We have to build a community that people want to invest in, that want to be part of. And this is a tool, an important tool, used correctly, for doing exactly that. So I'm very supportive of using the mechanism of an EIFD in this setting because I think it is the fit you would imagine when you were trying to create the opportunity to do that. I also think that it makes complete sense in this location. I said a moment ago that not necessarily new to these kinds of conversations or this location, because there's someone here getting up and standing in the back of the room trying to get out before I identify him, who stood with me, among others, and I think the past Mayor Steinberg in this location holding a press conference hoping for a basketball arena in the rail yards. Now, we lost that opportunity with the sizzle of a hamburger, but we now have a very real opportunity, and we would be making a huge mistake if we didn't take advantage of it. I know how these kinds of decisions can make a huge difference, having been very involved in the approval of getting Rayleigh Field built. And I know what the opportunities in the rail yards are in such places as the central shops. So these occasions present seminal moments for our community. They are the moments in which we choose to take a course. And the course that I believe we are taking tonight is the one that will lead to a much better, brighter future for all of us in Sacramento. It is a meaningful and difficult choice in many respects. We shouldn't sugarcoat how tough these decisions are. But it is the tough decisions to take smart ventures that lead to the development of thriving communities. And that's what I believe we're doing here. And that all of you who have been involved in this effort understand and advocate for. The other element of this that is so significant, and some of my colleagues have referred to it, is the enviable symmetry of having the Wilton Rancheria return to land that was historically its land. That doesn't happen in our country very often, certainly not often enough for a variety of reasons. But here we have a profound opportunity to speak to history in a way that rarely presents itself. And so I am so delighted that the Rancheria is part, in fact, an essential, integral part of this partnership. I look forward. I am admittedly not the biggest soccer fan in the world, certainly not compared to my colleagues. But what I do understand is that when we invest in these kinds of efforts, that we create an environment for our residents that make them proud and happy to be part of our community. And we can build a bigger, stronger, better community that all derive the benefits from if we're committed to doing that. I'm convinced that this deal is the right deal. It's a good deal. It's a smart deal. It's a deal that people will look back on and say they made a wise choice when they had the opportunity. And I hope that we realize the benefits for all in this process as we move into this better, brighter future. Thanks very much.
Councilmember Kaplan?
Thank you. I want to thank, as everybody, city staff, former Mayor Darrell Steinberg, former city manager Howard Chan, who was essential to where we are today, Wilton Rancheria, Chairman, your leadership, your council's leadership, Kevin Nagel, DRV, Todd, Senator Angelique Ashby, and everyone who came together to make this project a reality. Also on our table, just want to let you know, Congresswoman Doris Matsui sent in a letter of support urging us to do this, and I got a message from Senator Angelique Ashby, who sends her regrets and regards. She's being a senator and doing business, but urges us to support this and greatly appreciates the work done by former Mayor Steinberg and city leadership to put Sacramento in a place to be successful with major soccer, urging us to support this. So, perfectly honest, I grew up a gymnast. I was not a soccer fan, but in 1991 and 92, I lived in Europe, and I learned what football was. AKA, as Americans, we call it soccer. And I lived in Sweden when the European Cup came through and got to experience it firsthand, and I was done. I was a die-hard football fan because if you understand European soccer, it is wild, it is crazy, it is family fun friendly, and it brings everyone together. And that is what we're seeing here today, is bringing everyone together that should be coming together for the greater good of our city, for the greater good of a people nation, for the greater good of what is right for our taxpayers, what is right for our workers, what is right moving forward. So I have about 5 pages of questions. I'm kidding. Just wanted to see if you guys are still awake. Just a couple of quick questions. Some of my colleagues did touch on it, but I didn't fully hear it explained. So can you explain to me, when infrastructure is done, who normally pays for infrastructure?
So it's a little bit of a complicated question. So kind of public infrastructure, depending on the nature of it, is often borne by the public sector. Sometimes it's borne by the private sector, particularly, kind of specific private infrastructure. In this case, the biggest critical factor here is that the infrastructure, in order to deliver anything of substance, is so substantial that certainly the past 30 years have demonstrated that it was not something that the private sector was willing to take on its own.
And I ask that because some people have questioned, okay, we're giving away taxpayer money. If we did not do the EFID, do you see this coming to fruition? Do you see the deal of DRV moving forward or the stadium moving forward?
Well, as the cliche goes, I think the proof is in the pudding. We've seen more than 30 years of development not materializing in it, simply because, in large part, the costs of delivering the infrastructure that then can support other things happening. So I can never foresee into the future. It's crystal ball. I just simply say that the past is somewhat kind of representative of the future if we continued on the course we were on.
And one of the questions I want to clarify, so Indomitable has, up to $50 million for qualified with a cost escalator. Does that go for the life of the EFID of 45 years?
It does not. We try to put a reasonable kind of period on it, and that was really the work of staff here kind of negotiating on that, and so we settled for on a period of 13 years.
So basically, DRV will get reimbursed out of the whatever east or west EIFD if they built.
The specifics that maybe Marco can remind me of, there's a time frame under which they have to start the construction. I believe it's 5 years, and then it's 13 years to complete. So,
yeah,
but we fully expect. Keep in mind, I do want to stress that the motivation is to complete as quickly as possible because, once again, they are fronting the costs, and that cost reimbursement only happens as increment is generated, which is a result of the development.
Well, and I think it's important just to clarify that, because sometimes people say, oh, you pass something and then nothing happens. You pass a plan and nothing gets built, nothing moves forward. So it really is important that we clarify that we're moving forward and the parties intend to move forward and break ground and move forward as quickly as possible. Now, the total $95 million reimbursed, is that the total cost for the infrastructure? Because then it wouldn't seem like it's a good deal if we're reimbursing them totally.
That is not the entire infrastructure burden. So in the infrastructure financing plan, it lays out eligible facilities, and the estimate is a little over $200 million of remaining facilities that need to be constructed in the rail yards.
And thank you. I think that's really important that, you know, DRV and Indomitable are putting in, we're not just giving them the reimbursement and covering all their cost. The cost is also on them. That's where, again, I go back to, we do this together in a partnership. This shows the partnership and that we're not just giving it away. Do want to clarify something for the record. On the staff write-up, it said for the CFD that it'll come be either city and or other entity. What is the and or who's bringing the CFD forward?
All right. So the CFD is proposed at this time. I think it was referring to that the city could bring forward a CFD or some other, the EIFD could also issue debt through the EIFD itself. But right now, the contemplation would be that the city would bring forward CFD formation.
So we would bring it, or would it come from Indomitable or the landowners?
The landowner could petition to form the CFD, and then the city staff would bring forward that for city council's consideration.
Okay, I think just as we move forward, a description of understanding that background to avoid confusion, because I know some were confusing the CFD with the EIFD and what each does, I think is important just to clarify for public questions. And then somebody has brought up, you know, the parking plan. Is there anything that the city is doing differently regarding parking and the revenue for this?
I'd like to call someone from the back of the room. So we do have Matt Ironman here who could speak to what was included in the term sheet and in the comprehensive project agreement. I believe he's here. There he is. Oh.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Matt Arman, Director of Public Works. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the full question.
I'm just asking, so in our parking plan, is there anything that the city is doing differently regarding parking and parking revenue?
Yeah, so we're working with the team. We are going to use our reservation platform, sacpark.org. We're going to require the team to use that platform. We're going to use our co-partners at 30 of our certified partner locations. So that way we don't congest the area just with people looking for parking. So we're going to be working with the team to do that marketing and pull that strategy together.
So I've heard a rumor, and somebody asked a question. So we didn't make a parking deal like we did for Golden One downtown because somebody made the assumption that we were giving the same kind of deal on parking that we did with Golden One. That's not true, correct?
No, not true at all. We're partners in this. We are not subsidizing any funding. We are, if they park in city facilities, we will earn the revenue at those facilities.
Thank you. That was all the question
All
I
right.
had.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Great entrance, by the way. And then questions were already asked by my colleagues, but I do want to make a statement because there's been confusion about affordable housing. Correct me if I'm wrong, the original developer agreement was made in 2016 for this area, correct?
That is correct. That's when the mixed income housing strategy was put in place.
And that developer agreement is in compliance with the ordinance at that time regarding affordable housing.
That is correct.
And since that time, has anything changed with the developer agreement and affordable housing?
Not to my knowledge.
So in reality, am I correct in understanding with the expansion of the EFID, and after all the waterfall of people are paid from the 45 million and the 50 million and the city of Sacramento 14 million, we actually are adding in potential revenue for affordable housing that was not currently there.
That's correct.
So in actuality, we are benefiting and creating more opportunities for gap finance funding for affordable housing.
That is correct.
I know the Wong Center was designated affordable. Was the AGA, when it was proposed, supposed to have affordable housing units?
I would ask DRV to specifically speak to that, but I do not believe so. I think that was a secondary decision.
And I will just say that as DRV comes up, so the amount of affordable that was included evolved over time. So, you know, there was some tough conversations that were had. Obviously, it was a tough project to get off the ground, and staff was really pushing for that 20%. So, you know, there were some evolutions of the project that occurred.
So I just want to clarify, because some people say, one, I already know, if you understand how budgets work and EFID work, we would not get this money but for this project, so it's not going to hurt our current budget deficit. So, you know, cart and horse, you know, you can't claim the horse and the money without the cart. So I said that backwards. It's been a long day. So I am not worried about passing this and this being a bad deal for the city. I do want to thank everybody, and I encourage finding ways for gap financing for more affordable housing of all types in mixed units. I think that benefits everyone. So thank you. Those were the questions that I have. I now want to speak, Chairman, thank you for your relationship with our city. I know your word is your bond, and this is not a transaction for you and your people. Thank you to your council for trusting the city and leaping into an arena where honesty is not often associated with politics and elected officials. In our life, all we have, our word, is our bond. So thank you for being that person and that leader who is leading with their word and their bond. We truly can't talk about America without recognizing the many contributions, the rich cultural diversity, and the historical legacy of our Native Americans. Our story, the American story, is rooted in the legacy of the people who were here first. It is a story that has many tragedies. It is a story that is not easy to learn because we see the first Americans often treated very poorly those who were here first. But that is not the only story. We cannot ignore the tragic past that befell Native Americans, but it's to our detriment if we also do not recognize that there is more to the story. The heritage of Native Americans is also one of resilience, strength, and determination. It is a story of overcoming overwhelming odds to survive, adapt, and build a new sense of community. It is a story of maintaining and honoring your cultural history while fighting through adversity to find a new way to America. So tonight, it's easy. I'm voting yes, not because truly the deal in front of me, but also because it's righting a wrong. It's supporting people who have been historically disadvantaged, but also supporting the city of Sacramento in all the right ways. For our soccer families, for our future events that will happen at the stadium, for the build out of a long blighted area that has sat empty for so long without reimbursement, with a reinvestment for our historical shops and bringing an event venue. This is the Sacramento that we all ask ourselves to be. This is the Sacramento we all want to be. This is a time that is the right way to move forward for Sacramento, for the people who have been historically wronged, and for the families and the people who live here now and the workers that are coming now to build it and will maintain it. This is right. This is, in so many ways, a step that if we grasp onto this, leaps us and Sacramento to the next step of historical reinvestment that we have to grow to address our budget deficit, that we have to do for the right for so many reasons. So that's why it's easy to vote yes, and I can't wait to celebrate on opening day.
Councilmember Jennings?
Thank you very much. I actually want to get to the vote, so I'm going to be very brief.
Thank you.
Give you 7 quick points. Somewhere between 13,000 to 25,000 jobs that will be created by this. Approximately $325 million in private investment. That's number 2. Number 3, 0 risk to the general fund, which makes this a great deal for Sacramento. Thank you for everybody who made that happen. Number 4, I love the new teammates that we are starting to become a team with. And I can't wait to continue to work with you as we go to a championship together. Number 5, this is an opportunity to right the wrongs of the past. And we are committed to doing so. And doing so together, not you by yourself. Number 6, it's as simple as this. This is a game changer. It's one that we may never see again in our lifetime, but it is a game changer. And then number 7, we have the opportunity to make this happen today, right now, and to have generational change for years to come. And I'm ready to give you my vote to say yes to doing so. Thank you, Mayor.
And last but not least, our Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, who I will note is the only season ticket holder up here for the Sacramento Republic. Close us out, Councilmember.
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, I am a very proud season ticket holder of the Sacramento Republic. Vamos los Rojos, you know. And like my colleague, you know, Councilmember Pluckybaum, a proud, you know, soccer dad. You know, although I grew up, you know, eras fútbol, you know, and you know, but every weekend I see so many parents playing soccer. And some people say that Sacramento is a baseball town. Some people say that Sacramento is a basketball town. But I would argue to see how many parents and how many kids and how many people are involved that Sacramento is equally, if not more, a Sacramento town. Soccer town, sorry. It's a long day. Sacramento town, yes, soccer town. Soccer. But I will say that today is this meeting and this action is not about soccer at all, and it cannot be. It cannot be about soccer. And I really do see what this action and this item is about is how we grow as a city and how we grow as a people, but more importantly, how we grow with the original people of this land in their own ancestral tribal lands. And so for that, I do think that I know everyone spoke about, you know, thank yous to staff and DRV on this, but I do want to thank also the commitment from our local tribal council here, Chairman Tarango, Vice Chair Raquel Williams, and all of the tribal council members and their citizens who are involved in this. Also to Chris Franklin as well for the involvement in making sure that we're steering its citizens in the right direction and the advice and counsel. To me, I think that's what this is about, is how we're moving together and growing together. And I also do want to thank those members of that have come here to question the project, and because it's forced us to answer some questions and forced us to ensure that the project is what it is. And I to my brother Francisco Garcia over here, who even said, I'm not saying don't do it. I just want to make sure that it's right. And I think that I do want to thank those who've come to oppose it, because it's forced us to ask that question. I want to thank Mayor Steinberg, for appointing me, first of all, on both of the EIFDs and understanding that learning curve. And I know there's been some analogies today about whether, using soccer terms as a way. But I would say that actually the rail yard and the railroad analogy is much more appropriate on this tool, because if anybody looked at that math there, you need to start that engine before you can move any cargo. The reality is, all the projects that we have there right now, as great as the Kaiser Hospital is building jobs, the Wong Center, the courthouse, they're not producing any tax revenue to make this happen. And the only thing that's going to make this happen is to make the realization of affordable housing and all of the things we've talked about is that of DRV and the people of the Wilton Rancheria. And because of that, for those of you who do chant, I want to do a shout out to Section 109. But for those of you who do chat, and chant out there, there's a great chant that I think, since it's after 5 o'clock, Vamos Sacramento, esta noche tenemos que ganar. So with that, I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment and questions and comments from council members. We have a motion and a second from the dais here. And before we take the vote, don't leave anywhere, because we have one more thing to do after the vote. So with that, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none. Passes unanimously. Take a group picture in a second, but first I'd like to bring up Sac Republic President Todd Donovan, a former Major League Soccer player, and our own Vice Mayor, longtime soccer player, Karina Talamontes. I grew up a baseball player, of course, but I did play a little soccer, and I am a soccer dad, so we're going to have an honorary toss-out. Here we go. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah. All right. Official, man.
Fantastic. Leslie, thank you for everything, Leslie. How you doing, man? So much. That was good.
All right.
Kevin.
Excuse me.
I'm just trying to get out of the way.
Who else would like? Somebody else. I have a.
I know, we'll get a million. That guy just is funny. I went to Todd's office. I don't have a penis. Steal all of your stuff? No, I usually get ours. I should probably have one. Here, take this. Oh yeah, I should take this too, huh?
Yeah, we'll compare. Do you want to stand here? I'm the shorty, so I'm like.
Oh, I guess I'm not going to get a photo. Check that out.
Hi.
There you go.
5'2".
I'm 5'1.5".
Okay, we're gonna have to measure.
You're gonna be able to get it.
Yeah, over here.
That spot's better there.
Yeah. Well, and she's way taller, so. I didn't. See, I can just stand under you.
Okay, everybody look at this camera first, if you don't mind. Big smiles, big smiles.
Did I get everyone here? And one this way. Thank you. Oops, sorry.
Okay, we need the next one here. Yep, we're gonna do a couple of these, and then we're gonna do one more. Awesome, thank you everyone.
Can we have everyone say indomitable on the count of 3? Wait, 1, 2, sorry, 1, 2, 3, thank you.
I'll be messing it up. I know, on the count of 1.
Wait, let's do one more. I'm actually gonna count this time. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you everyone.
Right here with me, in case they want to do like little split off. Yeah. They talked about it, but I could see it getting scrapped pretty quick. I think they are going to want to do kind of like wedding bullshit style. They give you a heads up. Something like that. I think they're going to. I would, yeah, just roll on it a little bit when they do the like. When they get his photo, just roll. I'm gonna try and grab their mic.
One quick, it's not on. Hello, hello.
Okay, council member and ownership only. So if you're not council and ownership, real quick, yeah.
Test. Can you hear me? Quick announcement. We are adjourned.